This is a very big week for us and a very big episode. So by the time this episode comes out, if you're watching this on Thursday or beyond, the Floor Spacer podcast will be 1 year old.
Oh, shoot. I almost forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yo,
Clap it up.
the big 365. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Clap
so
it up.
Thursday, March 13th, 2020 or 2025 will be our 1 year anniversary.
When is episode 50?
In 2 weeks.
Ooh.
So
Look out for
we're
that,
getting
boys.
there. And then 1 year of pods will be April 17th or April 16th, whatever day that is.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So yeah, just about a year ago from tomorrow, by the time this comes out, as we uploaded our first short, we drafted the best bald players in NBA history.
Wow.
So
That was a year
that
ago?
was a year ago.
That was a year ago.
Yo.
Isn't that crazy?
Time goes by way too fast.
Time flew, bro. And fast forward 365 days. We're just about at 4,800 subs. We're about at 4.2 million views channel wide. And I did a bunch of the adding up across all our social platforms. We've amassed over 10 million views across YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok.
Pretty cool.
So
Yeah.
pretty
Big
amazing for the
numbers.
first year. We can't thank you all enough. The support means the world. And we're just looking to keep things going. We have big plans for 2025. We're starting to get back into the swing of things. We got some big upgrades coming through and some other opportunities coming our way. But yeah, we're here back in the stew. It's episode number 48 of the Floor Spacer podcast. Tyler, Anthony, Gio back in the stew, like I had just mentioned previously. Lads, how are we today?
We vibing, bro.
We're doing all right. A lot of injuries to my teams in New York.
Yeah.
So
Unlucky.
One that's long term, one that's not long term, but otherwise still pretty upsetting for me.
What else is new, to be honest?
Yeah.
The New York
It's
team.
just all the bad luck.
They don't suck. Like, you guys are, what, top 3 in the East or something?
Yeah, but like
Well, then I'm fine. I'm talking about the Yankees.
But like even still, the
The
way
Knicks are fine.
the way fans set expectations, they expect them to be first place the entire season.
Well,
The whole
no.
thing.
They didn't expect that.
Most teams,
Maybe second behind Boston. Nobody expected. I mean, at least I didn't expect
when-
Cleveland to be this good.
when the Knicks traded for Cat, they were like, "There's no excuse to finish below Boston."
Well, listen. Well, I have things to say about the Knicks later on when we get to our last segment.
Yeah.
So we'll save it for them. But I have a guy or two that needs to really pop off for this next week to 2 weeks when Brunson is gone, because it really would show how much they were actually worth for their contract.
Exactly.
Miles McBride.
So
Not Miles McBride, but
well,
that's
you'll just
someone
have
that
to
should
find
step
out.
up.
So, but obviously, as you guys can tell by the title and the thumbnail, we're going to be putting every title contender into a tier list. So we'll talk more about that when the time comes. Obviously, we want to save that for the segment itself. As far as what else is on the agenda for today, we're going to talk about the big weekend that went on in the NBA. A lot of stuff went down. And Tyler's Player Spotlight returns for the first time in a couple months. I don't even remember the last time we did it. But it's shaping up to be a very good episode today. I'm really excited for it. And lads, do we have anything to say before we dive right in?
Let's
I
roll.
think we should talk about the Stephen A. Smith LeBron controversy.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about that later a little bit.
We could, yeah.
He just read the text.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, Gio does not read the group chats.
Listen, guys, I was at work all day. I literally didn't have time for that. But
That's fair.
All right,
But yeah,
let's go.
let's dive right in. So if you guys are on YouTube and you do enjoy today's video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. We're trying to get to 5K by the end of March. If you're on Spotify audio platforms, give us 5 stars, answer the polls, leave a review. I'm hoping by next week we'll be on Apple Podcasts. I'm just trying to work out all the kinks and stuff. It's a little bit difficult, it's a little bit tricky, but we'll get there, I promise. Follow us on our socials, links down in the description below. Get Gio to 1 million Instagram followers.
run it up.
And with that, let's get into the first segment, and I have been looking forward to talking about this for days now. Let's talk about the historic night of Nikola motherfreaking Jokic.
Let's go.
So the Nuggets played the Phoenix Suns on Friday night. They won by the final score of 149 to 141 in overtime. Now Phoenix was down 21 late in the third quarter. I mean, this game was a snooze fest for most of the time. And then in the latter half in the fourth quarter, Devin Booker just went on an absolute heater, and they tied the game. They took the lead for about 10 seconds before Denver took it right back. It was tied with about 5 seconds left, and Christian Brown, of all people, who's been on an absolute heater all season, hits the go-ahead 3 from the top of the key to take the lead, and then complete defensive breakdown by Denver in the last final seconds as Kevin Durant gets a wide-open 3 in the corner to tie the game. Credit to Booker. Takes guts to pass the ball like that with 1 second on the clock. Insane.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Denver's
play.
been the best team in overtime all year. I don't think they've lost in overtime. They're 6-0 or 7-0. But they started the quarter on a 7-0 run and just ran away with the entire game. But we're not talking about Denver. We're not talking about Phoenix or Booker. We're talking about Nikola Jokic because he finished the game with 31 points, 21 rebounds, and 22 assists.
Yeah.
To go along with 3 steals, he shot 60% from the field and 43% from 3. He is the first player in NBA history to have a 30-20-20 game ever. And he's the third player to have a 20-20-20 game, joining Wilt Chamberlain, shout out Otto Porter, and Russell freaking Westbrook, who is Jokic's teammate currently, which is just crazy to think about.
It's the Russ effect, bro.
Okay, yeah.
No, trust.
Definitely.
Trust.
You know, I think it's was it Manifest Destiny?
You can call it that.
Yeah,
I
it
guess.
pretty much is.
Yeah.
Because Michael Malone, they interviewed after the game, and he overheard Jokic, clowning Russ, like, you ever had a 30-20?
Nah, he wasn't clowning him. He was being dead serious.
No, he was definitely joking.
No, he wasn't. Jokic is not like that.
No, because
Jokic was like, because usually every record that Jokic gets, Russ also has it.
Yeah.
So he's like, Russ, did you ever get that? He was like actually questioning him.
Because he also said, my goal in life, because Russ was at the bottom of the series, like, I want to break his triple-double record and then make fun of him for the rest of his life. So
Yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah.
And even it's going to happen. And
Okay, fine.
even when they won the championship, midway through the Sun series, they told him that he had the most triple doubles by a center in playoff history. He's like, is Shaq on that list? And he had like a little smirk.
I'm dying.
So
Well, guess what? The world might end before that.
okay,
I'm fine.
definitely. But for those that don't know, Gio is a humongous Russ sexual.
Yeah.
So you're proud of it. So
Well, you know what? I wouldn't consider myself a Russ sexual.
Russ Stan,
That's just like, yeah, I'll be a Russ stan. A Russ
Thing is-
sexual is a little beyond. It's a little overboard.
like you don't have a shrine.
Yeah, nah, I don't.
He's not your phone wallpaper.
Nah.
Okay, good. I'm glad
I'm
we
a
got
Russ
that out of the
stan.
way.
I'm a Russ stan.
Okay, that's fair.
I stand for Russ.
But back to Jokic, obviously the first 30-20-20 game ever, he contributed to 83 points out of Denver's 149 in that entire game. That's 56% of their points, or just under. I think it's like 55.8, something like that.
He probably does it every game.
Oh yeah, but like if you look at the 22 assists is nuts. The most assists by a center ever in an NBA game.
Yes.
So that's just incredible.
Yeah.
And also Denver outscored Phoenix 24-16 in overtime, the most points scored in overtime this season.
Wow. Okay. That's
So
a lot for only like 10 minutes.
5.
5 minutes, right? Yeah. Let's say 5 minutes. Yeah.
Because they were just on a heater, and Phoenix kind of gave up. You know, like when you're playing, when you're playing 2K and it's like over, so you just put the controller down,
Yeah.
and they just kind of went off.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
let's open up the floor. Let's start with the Nuggets fan first.
Yeah.
Gio, your thoughts on this performance from Nikola Jokic?
Yeah, man. Nikola Jokic, a living legend. Okay?
Yes, sir.
A living legend. My friend, shout out to Tony. He's one of our like big time viewers on shorts and on pods. And he was like, yo, Gio. And that's it, right?
Yeah.
And then like 10 minutes later, he's like, Jokic is insane. I'm like, bro, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say because, look, I thought that 2020 would never be touched again after Russ got it.
Never thought he would get it.
I really didn't think he was going to get
Okay.
it. I thought he would get very close, like 17 assists, 17
'Cause
rebounds, stuff like that.
He
you
had
know?
19 assists in a game 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
but he only had like 7 rebounds.
Yeah, but I'm just like, nah, he won't get it. But then he got it. But I do want to say,
He's about to push some propaganda. I already could sense this happening.
you know it's coming, bro. You know it's coming.
All right,
this
get it
is
off
the
your chest.
Russell Westbrook effect.
Okay.
That's my point number 1.
Okay.
Russ makes his teammates that much better to where they have the best seasons that they ever have with him playing. Jokic is having probably the best season he's ever had as an individual player.
This is by far his best season of his career.
Right. And guess what?
He's averaging a triple-double.
The only difference is Russ is on the team.
Exactly.
Okay, we can go to Paul George. We can go to James Harden. We can go to, what's his name?
Bradley
Victor
Beal.
Oladipo. We can go to
Kevin Durant.
Bro,
not Kevin Durant. He's having others.
Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal was 0.1 away from winning the scoring title in 2021.
Exactly. He averaged like 31 points a game.
Yeah.
So this is the Russ effect. And then point number 2 is I just want to defend Russ for a second here because everyone's like, oh, Jokic is the new triple-double king. No. Russell Westbrook will always be my triple-double king. Okay? So here's the thing. They scored 140 points in that game.
Mm-hmm.
In Russ's 2020 game, they scored 100 points.
Yeah.
Okay, just look at the difference in that, right? So the pace of the game has increased so much. So there's so much more possessions now, so much more opportunity for assists to happen and for points to be scored. Right.
There's also an extra quarter.
Well, there you go. An extra
5
quarter as well. So to me, I'm not saying this is illegitimate. I'm not going to put an asterisk next
don't
to
put
it.
an asterisk.
I'm not doing that. But there's still something to be said about that. You know what I'm saying? Russ got that in 100 points.
Mm-hmm.
Jokic did 150. That's a big difference. So I'll just say that.
The
I'll
only
leave it there.
asterisk that needs to be put is that you're a Russ fan and you're.
Yeah, you could say that.
The way I kind of identify these guys, Oscar Robertson is the OG triple double. Russ is the current triple double king, and Jokic is a walking triple double. That's how
What's the difference?
Is that like Jokic just naturally gets a triple double. Like he doesn't have to try, so he basically just is. He's just nonchalant about it.
Okay.
So he's a walking triple double.
Okay.
Oscar Robertson's the OG, and then Russ has the most ever, so he's the king right now. So.
Yeah.
He's my king.
He's a Russ sexual now. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But Antoine, what are your thoughts on this performance?
Well, listen, growing up, seeing triple doubles from players, it was always fun. Like, you're like, whoa, all right, 10 plus everything. But now you're doubling it to 20 plus everything, and it's like, all right, this is video game numbers. This is insanity. Especially against the Suns. I'm thinking this would be against a pretty awful team like the Jazz or the Trailblazers.
I mean,
Suns are not good.
It's the Suns. I agree. Suns aren't good.
Especially on defense.
Suns are 11th in the West.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Yeah, but listen, this is his 29 triple double of the season. That's almost a third of the season that he's had triple doubles.
Is he going to get the 42?
he could.
He could, yeah.
Let's hope he does.
He has a career of 149 triple doubles as of now. That's probably going to go up even more.
Yeah, he's catching.
And then it's the 7th time this season he's had at least 15 points, rebounds, assists in a game, tied with Oscar for the most in the season in NBA history. He'll probably beat that. He'll probably get 8 or 9 or 10.
Probably
More than 7. But listen, it's unlike something I've never seen before. Watching the highlights, OT definitely benefited him getting over 21 rebounds and assists. He probably would have been a little shy from that.
I think he finished regulation, I think, with like 26 points. I think he had like 16 rebounds and I think 17 assists.
Yeah. So he would have been fairly close regardless. It still would have been a great triple double, but he had
a ridiculous game.
He had 2 triple doubles in this game because he had 2 10-10-10s.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's been counted for 2 triple doubles, not 1.
Yeah, 2. So technically, Russ did too when he had
Russ
his.
did too as well.
We just count that as one.
But listen, I think when Russ was getting his triple doubles, I think we were all kind of like in shock because it's a point guard, and Russ, for his height, getting his rebounds. We know as a point guard, assists come with that position, and so the points. But rebounds for someone like Russ, it's a little more tedious. But now,
and don't forget, he was averaging 30.
Well, yes, but getting 10 plus rebounds a game for his height is a little more harder. Jokic is doing it because he's a center. Of course, he's scoring. He's dishing the ball. 20 plus assists in this game. The rebounds, of course, are going to come to him as well. But listen, I hope we see more of this. I love seeing these stat lines. I don't know what the odds were for this game to have Jokic for a 30-20-20 triple-double. I should have placed that bet, but I didn't.
Are you kidding me, bro?
Bro wants to know it from the beginning.
Yeah.
I should have placed that bet.
Wild.
But listen, I hope this is only the first and we see more of this because we know Jokic still has a good amount of time left to play. If we see a 30-30-30 triple-double,
okay.
No.
That'll be something.
I think you get a 30-30-20 or at least a 30-30-15 is possible.
Yeah, 30-30. Assist is hard.
I
You
think
would have to go to like double OT. Game would have to be
I don't-
180
No,
to like.
we just saw Walker Kessler get 22 rebounds in a half.
Well, it was 25 total.
But yeah, exactly.
But that's because it was a blowout. He didn't play much in the fourth quarter. But like, if someone will get 30 rebounds at some point, we saw Zubats get 29 2 years ago. Like,
Yes.
it's definitely possible.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Well, listen, Denver right now is playing really good. I think everybody's back on the bench as well, minus, I think, Strother.
No, so we could transition now from the Jokic thing into the second half of this segment.
Yeah.
Talking about because obviously Denver was on a massive high after this game, and then it all came crashing down yesterday. As right now they're doing a back-to-back with the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're playing the second game right now as we speak. But the first game was the big one. Sunday, national televised on ABC. The battle for the MVP, as you want to put it. And unfortunately, the Thunder put the belt to ass. They won by 22 points or 24 points, 127-103.
Yeah. They really pulled away in the fourth.
They really pulled away in the fourth. Jokic was hot to start the game.
Yeah.
And then Hartenstein kind of threw him to the ground. Jokic landed right on his elbow, right on his shooting elbow, and he missed like 7 straight shots afterwards, kind of lost touch throughout the game.
Wow, Hartenstein, dirty player? Question mark.
I mean, they're former teammates, so I don't think he meant it.
Right.
Yeah.
But, and then Aaron Gordon left early on in the first quarter, re-injuring the same calf as he did for the 3rd time this season, and he's missing tonight's game. So really just unlucky for Denver. Denver also missed 9 free throws as a team. Jokic missed 3 of them. And then SGA had a masterclass of a game in the fourth quarter, finished with 48-5 with 3 blocks.
Holy crap.
2 of 11 from 3, though. We're not going to let that slide. But
Did he seal the MVP with that?
to me, no, but obviously for the media's sake, absolutely.
I think a lot of it depends on what happens tonight as well.
Not really, because SGA got 40, and no one's going to care what happens tonight. We literally saw Stephen A on national television yesterday say, "I don't care what Jokic does." He already made up his mind. That's why him and Kendrick Perkins are getting a lot of hate in the media, and rightfully so, because you can't really be you can't be this sort of biased on national television trying to sway people's votes.
Exactly. I mean, I understand the case for both of them. They're both having exceptional seasons. But the things that SGA is doing, we've seen from various different point guards in the past.
We haven't actually.
In regards to points and assists, or
Just
like...
in regards to his efficiency, because I have SGA's advanced metrics here. So this season, he's obviously averaging 33 points. He's, I think, leading the league in scoring, or at least neck and neck with Giannis. 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, and a block. He's shooting 53 from the field. His true shooting is at 64%, which is nuts for a guard. I mean, usually guards are kind of in the lower, even like 60s, kind of like around where they should be. And he's averaging 2.5 turnovers on 35% usage.
That's good.
So he's his efficiency numbers are through the roof. But really, what's pushing SGA over the edge is his defensive game, because he's a lock for all defense, no doubt. He's currently he's first in blocks among guards. He's second in the league in steals per game. He's third in the league on loose balls recovered and in deflections, which are 2 underrated stats. He has the highest forced turnover percentage in both the pick and roll and in isolation.
Wow.
So
he's very impressive.
And he's also leading the league in effective plus or estimated plus minus and defensive estimated plus minus.
All right, man. He's got my vote.
And, OKC, youngest team in the league. They're 16-2 since February 1st. They're 7-2 versus the top 5 teams in the NBA. I do still think Jokic deserves it because he's doing a lot more than less, but SGA is way more deserving than Embiid was in 2023.
Yes.
Wow.
I agree with that.
SGA gets it.
It's just I don't like that when I guess Stephen A says that Jokic doing what he does is just not a care to anybody, and people should understand that what Jokic is doing is really hard in the NBA, and not everybody reaches to that certain point at all in their career.
Right.
So Stephen A should definitely take that statement back and say, I'll watch what Jokic is doing, but still be SGA, or give it until the end of the regular season and see how each team goes into the playoffs, because the playoffs don't include the MVP winners.
Right.
But it should be fairly close, not like what Stephen A. Smith is saying.
But that's the problem. It's not going to be close.
Exactly.
And that's why I don't think TV personalities like this should have votes. I think it's almost irrelevant, because they place their own agendas with these votes based on the track record of obviously Kendrick Perkins turning it into a race war, and obviously Stephen A being xenophobic. He's got a track record of doing this. It was doomed from the start for Jokic.
Well, SGA is Canadian, so you can't really bring that argument here.
But like I said, someone made this point on Twitter. It was very compelling, saying Stephen A will automatically go for an American, and if there's no Americans available, he goes for the African-American player.
Yeah.
And that's what SGA was. That's what Joel Embiid was. So that's why do you think that Stephen A didn't even show Luka Doncic love? Because he had a much better case last year than SGA for MVP.
I wouldn't say much. It was actually close.
I think
Luka's second half push, because the last 2 months are really important in the MVP race.
Right.
And Luka's last 2 months were outstanding.
Right.
I think he was averaging 34, 10 and 10. It was something.
Yeah, but they were also the 6th seed or something like that.
But they had rose up from the 11 seed all the way up to 4.
4.
So, yeah, they did really well. So,
I mean, I think Stephen A is following that same footstep as Kendrick. But I guess Kendrick's the one giving Jokic his props. I guess being a fellow center himself. But at least there's some debate with that. But it just these guys are two of the best. They should be interlocks for MVP and fight it out to the end. Whoever gets the most votes, it's going to be close. Should be close, but we'll have to see.
It should be, but I don't know.
I think it'll be like 60-30.
Yeah.
Or 66-33, you know.
Because most people are going to
favor.
vote. Most people are going to vote for SGA. I'm checking the score of the Nuggets game right now with the Thunder. Are they playing right now? Denver's down by 2.
Okay.
So we'll keep tabs on this game. I'm not really expecting much, but yeah, that's essentially the story of this past weekend regarding the Nuggets and the Thunder. Do we have any final thoughts before we get into the next segment? All right.
Let's go.
All right. It's the next day. This is why you don't make assumptions too early, because if there's one person you cannot doubt, it's Nikola Jokic. So obviously we just talked about SGA pretty much wrapping up the MVP debate for the media, not for us, because we still think it's Jokic, aside from maybe you, Gio.
Yeah.
But Jokic said, hold on, boys, I'm not done yet. Because the Nuggets absolutely put a beat down on the OKC Thunder yesterday. I believe it was 140 to 138. Let me actually
127.
127. Now,
How are they scoring that many points?
well, the Nuggets had one of their best shooting games of all time. It was like their best shooting game since like the 1990s.
Wow.
Or like the 1980s.
Okay.
Nikola Jokic in that game had 35 points, 18 rebounds, and 7 assists. He was just outstanding on both
Scary.
ends. The Nuggets went 7 of 7 in their first 7 threes in the fourth quarter.
Oh,
and just went
gosh.
on an absolute tear throughout the rest of the game.
Well, that's how you win.
Exactly. And this was a statement game because, we all assumed that this was it, that the Thunder were probably going to win again and SGA was going to win the MVP.
Wow.
But now
Because they were winning, right? When the last time
Yeah.
we checked.
they were.
They made 18 threes.
Who,
That's
Denver?
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So SGA finished with like 25, 26 points. So it's really close, to be honest, because they've both put the beat down on each other twice. And the other games, they just haven't played good. Like Jokic had a 16, 10, and 10 triple-double in their first meeting on opening day. Then SGA got blocked on a game-winning attempt in the second game. We saw what happened in the game we just talked about. And then the most recent game, SGA just did not really have all the pieces together. And Nikola Jokic had a 15 of 20 shooting night. It was outstanding on all ends for him. So yeah, guys, what are did this change the MVP debates for y'all?
Oof. I mean, for me, it's still Jokic.
Yeah.
I think just because looking at the box score, comparing the benches for both teams, obviously Denver is lacking in every vicinity bench-wise, besides like Payne Watson.
And Russell Westbrook.
Russ is starting.
He started that game.
Okay, yeah.
SGA has five formidable bench guys that are
Yeah.
really like notable
Solid bench pieces.
compared to Jokic, and I think Jokic is doing a lot more compared to SGA.
Right, and we talked about that yesterday with regard to the help and all that stuff. And it's crazy how even these two games were, because obviously SGA went off for 40 on Sunday. Jokic went off for 35 and 18 last night. They both had mid-20-point games, and they both lost a fellow starter around them. Aaron Gordon left in the first quarter. I think Jalen Williams left right before halftime with a hip injury. But at the end of the day, it's just like Jokic is doing more with less. And look, I know SGA is averaging more points. He's averaging 33, 5, and 6, like we had mentioned previously. But Nikola Jokic is averaging 29 points, 13 rebounds, 10.5 assists. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I understand most casual NBA fans, or at least the media, has a points per game kink where that rules overall. But like, I would much rather have an extra 8 rebounds and an extra 5 assists than an extra 3 points. That's just me personally. I don't know if y'all feel any different. Jokic is also shooting way more efficiently from the field, but obviously he's a center. But he's shooting 43% from behind the arc.
Yeah, listen, like when I look at MVP, MVP stands for most valuable player. So when we define value for an NBA player, does the NBA have a stat like WAR for baseball?
Not really, no.
Okay, because WAR would be so beneficial in the
Tell
NBA.
us what that means, War.
WAR is wins above replacement.
Got it.
Yeah.
Basically, every player in baseball has a WAR number, and the higher your WAR is, the better you are.
I mean, there's advanced stats that help, like box plus minus, value over replacement. I think it's like player or something like that. VORP is what it's called, but a lot of casual fans don't care about the advanced metrics, but at the end of the day, they mean a lot.
Yeah.
And SGA does lead the league in some advanced metrics, like we had just talked about. But Nikola Jokic is having, I think, the best statistical season as far as box plus minus goes.
Yeah.
I think he has I think he's like 5 of the top 10 best seasons regarding that metric in NBA history. And he's outperforming all of his seasons this year. And he interviewed after the game. He didn't really make a case for himself, but he just said, I think I'm playing my best basketball. So if that's enough, that's fine. If not, SGA deserves it.
He said that?
So, yeah. And he said that every
Yeah.
year regarding
Right.
the MVP. He don't care, but I think he would like to have another one.
For sure.
Yeah.
So,
I think people like to make themselves think they don't care about it, but they do deep down. They want that MVP.
yeah. I mean, we saw him talk about it with the first MVP because one of his trainers, Felipe, said, you can get this. And he did. But I think seeing what Kendrick Perkins and Stephen A. Smith have been doing, you just kind of lose interest because it's like, what's the point? It's all just negativity. It's a clown show. That's kind of what it is, right?
I wouldn't say they lose interest because of what people are saying. People are always going to say what they're going to say.
Right.
Like you're going to have haters whether you're SGA, whether you're Jokic, right?
It's just
you're
so
still going
toxic,
to do you.
though,
Yeah.
right? Isn't the whole debate thing just so toxic that
It's just to stir the pot.
right?
That's literally all they're getting at.
I mean, it's all toxic. I don't think Jokic is a victim of toxicity because he's Jokic. I think every star in the NBA has some toxicity coming at them from the media.
Right.
That's what I think.
It's just strange how the biggest names that have votes have never voted for him for MVP. That's always been the perplexing thing about it.
Pretty sure Perkins did the first
He
year.
never
no?
did. Both of them never did. It was
The
I thought
thing
Perkins was a big Jokic guy.
no, he's not. He
Was.
I don't know if he may have been previously, but
Yeah.
from what I remember, he voted for SGA last year.
Okay.
He voted for Giannis in 2023
And
because
Embiid?
obviously he didn't vote for Embiid. Remember, he switched the narrative and
Yeah.
then voted for Giannis to get off his back. Then he voted for Embiid in 2022 and 2021.
Right.
So, or at least he voted for either Embiid or Steph Curry. He was trying to make an argument for Chris Paul in 2021 to win MVP.
That's just Perkins, man. He
Right.
just-
But
he
at the
just
end of the
wants to
day,
be-
those are the most popular people on television that have votes. At the end of the day, they're essentially trying to guilt trip these voters into voting for someone else. And they've done it. This is the 5th year in a row now we're on.
How much influence do you think Kendrick Perkins has on the rest of the voters? I don't think this much.
well, in
I think
20
everyone's going to vote for who they're going to vote for.
In 2023, he had a significant swing because of the race card.
Okay.
Where he called voters racist, and the polls completely swung. It flipped
All right, well,
around completely.
that is ridiculous.
Right. As a one.
Number one. Number two, I don't think that's going to happen again.
I hope not.
Yeah.
Because right now, I think it's close because there's really not a good third candidate. I mean, Giannis, Tatum, like they could have a case, but they're nowhere near these two.
Yeah.
So
I think the solution to this is just take media voting away and let the coaches vote. All 30 coaches vote.
No.
I don't agree with that. I think it needs to be non-TV writers.
Yeah, but the coaches, I think, or
Coaches will
GMs.
just vote for their own player.
Yeah.
No, I
Yeah, they will.
Conflict of
They
interest.
100% will. Because there's no way in hell that Joe Mazzulla would not vote for
Exactly.
Jason. Yeah, he would vote for Jason Tatum.
Exactly.
Like
That's true.
so, it would be tough for that to happen. But there's got to be some sort of way. They got to rethink these votes because there's clear bias. There's clear biases and agendas being pushed on
There
television.
always will be because we're human beings.
Yeah.
So that's insanely difficult to remove from any sort of voting
Yeah.
because you're going to have a bias. That's just natural.
Right. I think at the end of the day, if this all keeps up, they need to start removing votes from people that, maybe push the line too far.
Yeah.
So,
If First Take took callers from viewers,
oh God.
oh
cool.
my God, the amount of people they would get to roast Stephen A for everything, which would be so much fun.
I actually
But
don't
he
think.
he doesn't like doing that anymore.
I
He does
think
it on
that,
his show.
He had a radio show, but he doesn't get to take callers anymore.
He takes calls sometimes, I think, on the Stephen A. Smith show.
Yeah, I'm
He
pretty
doesn't do
sure.
that.
No, the podcast.
Are you okay?
I think he does sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, yeah. As far as Stephen A. Smith, I think people will chat online, Twitter fingers, but when you talk to the guy in person, nobody's saying all that.
Oh,
That's how I feel.
I would hope not.
They're gonna keep it cordial, even if they disagree with their opinions. So
Right.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of the gist of that. Obviously, are you still SGA Gio for MVP?
Very slightly. Based off of last game, I mean, for me, it's moving every single game. It's going like that.
And that's why I'm perplexed about, guys like Stephen A already making their decisions, because there's still 20 games left in the season.
Yeah.
This is really where you have to finish strong.
Right.
And we'll see what happens. If the Thunder wind up, locking up the 1 seed too early and they start taking games off and Denver just starts heating up, who knows what can happen.
Yeah.
So,
That's true.
Before we get you all onto the next segment, let's call it right now. Who's winning MVP?
Oh, my pick was still Jokic.
I'll still go SGA.
I think it's probably going to unfortunately be SGA, but it should be Nikola Jokic. Okay. So I will leave it at that.
Yeah.
Sorry for the quick little interruption here on our show. We'll get you all on back to the next segment to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers and LeBron James. Let's talk about the Los Angeles Lakers, because apparently you can never talk too much about the Lakers on television and in media in general. But I think this is the one time where it's actually, deserved to talk about the Lakers, because they're actually playing really good basketball. Mm-hmm. They've won 8 of their last 9 games, which is the 3rd best record in the NBA since February 20th. In that stretch, they're top 15 in offense, and they're leading the league in defense right now, which equates to top 5 in net rating, which is a complete turnaround considering this team was garbage to start the season. I mean, let's just be honest with ourselves. Obviously, the main difference maker here is Luka Doncic, the elephant in the room. In his last 7 games, he's averaging 28 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists, 2.5 steals. And the real SGA Embiid metric, he's averaging 10 free throw attempts a game, which is insane work, nasty work. But it's kind of the main gist. There's one other stat I will get into regarding Luka a little bit later, but before we get into that and the Boston game, I want to know y'all's thoughts about the Lakers' recent play. So I'll open up the floor. I'll start with you, Antoine.
Well, listen, I'm a big stats guy, and there's some stats here that tell a story that we covered pretty recently. So since January 13th, they're 20-6, 12-3 since acquiring Luka. A little tidbit there. This is where the story really begins. So the Lakers have attempted 48% of their field goals from three-point range over the last 8 games.
Oh, wow.
Which landed them 3rd in the NBA behind Boston and Minnesota.
Is it 40 or 48?
48.
48.
Wow.
So
That's
almost
a
half
lot,
of the
yeah.
shots. So since Luka's debut as well, Lakers have attempted 40-plus threes in 9 of their 10 games he's played. They had only done so just 7 times over the first 50 games of the season. So they've already beaten that in 10 games.
Yeah.
Wow.
And, of course, the Lakers rank 3rd in three-point attempts per 100 possessions, 42.7 over this stretch itself. And, of course, Boston remains number 1 at 50.5. So the story is from this that we covered, of course, if three-point shooting is ruining the game. For the Lakers, it's not. It's helping them win.
Can I piggyback off that?
Go ahead.
I saw a stat from Clutch Points. If I could find the graphic, I'll put it on the screen because I don't remember where it went. But there was a stat regarding LeBron James, Austin Reeves, Dalton Knecht, and Jared Vanderbilt. So LeBron James with Luka is shooting 44% from 3. Without, he's shooting 38%. With Reeves, with Luka, he's shooting 45% from 3. Without him, he's shooting 35%. Dalton Knecht shooting 46% with Luka on the floor. Without, 35.5%. And Jared Vanderbilt is shooting 45.5% with Luka on the floor. And when he's off the floor, he's shooting 22% from 3.
Yeah. Luka's making Jared Vanderbilt look good, who hasn't been on the court probably for a full year since 2021, 2022.
A good point guard really changes a lot for a team.
I saw a quote. DFS said that Luka's giving them buck naked shots.
Buck naked?
Buck naked open shots every
butt
game.
naked?
No, it's actually buck naked.
Buck
the
naked.
term, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
buck
that's
naked. So I guess
thought it was butt naked.
Luka
I
is
thought so
really
too.
spacing the floor, no pun intended,
Yes, he is.
for these guys, and they're shooting threes like crazy, and they're winning.
Yeah.
And JJ's a shooting head coach, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know.
We're also in an era where teams cannot guard the perimeter to save their lives. So
Why is that?
I think it's just the laziness on defense of this new generation, maybe. Because, think about guys like Dyson Daniels. There's few and far between in the NBA.
Yeah, but he's
So-
highly skilled.
I also
Right.
I also think it's like when I grew up playing basketball, like our coaches always just told them like just let them shoot, like because they think
Right.
like it's 50-50, they're not going to get it in, but
These are pros.
these are pros, but they still could miss, but the margin for error for them is a lot less
Yeah.
likely than for guys who are in middle school like we were in high school.
Teams also overhelp because stars are way more talented than they were in the
yeah,
years past.
that's what I was gonna say.
Because you'll see LeBron drive into the paint, and you'll just see the whole defense just suck in. Like when we saw the Nuggets play the Kings, 4 Kings players surrounded Jokic in the paint. Like offensive gravity on stars is insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say when these basketball players are younger and they're coming in the NBA or they want to go up to college or something like that, they work on their offensive game more than anything else because guess what? That's what pays the big bucks.
Exactly.
Nobody's working on defense anymore because that's not what pays. No. You know, so people
That's
back
true.
in the day, they would be working on their defensive slides or their defensive reads or whatever, right?
Right.
Nowadays, it's none of that. It's how you can dribble, how you can create space, how you know what I'm saying? So it's completely opposite. And also, I was going to say about Luka, it's not necessarily a good point guard that brings this type of percentage, you know, upgrade in percentage in 3-point shooting to the team.
Yeah.
It's more so, like you said, star gravity. So people are so afraid of Luka's threat of shooting that they're guarding him tighter. It means there's more space for other people to operate, for other people to shoot threes.
Right.
So it's more space, not necessarily a good point guard. Because you could have a good point guard that can't shoot, and it's not going to be like that much of a big effect in terms of your spacing.
I do think it matters though, because you need Luka's a much better playmaker than D'Angelo Russell. He's a much better playmaker than Gabe Vincent.
Yeah.
So like having a good playmaker helps, right? That's
Very
why
true.
he averages so many assists. And we're seeing the leap with Cade Cunningham right now. We see how Trae Young elevates his guys. We see what Chris Paul made Mikal Bridges look amazing, and now look at him.
Yeah.
So I think it's both, but I do think
It's
the
both.
offensive
You're
gravity is probably the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Because it creates the space.
Right.
You know, we saw when we had the big 3 in Brooklyn, I think Joe Harris never had that many shots in years prior.
Yeah.
Because, you know, everyone was kind of around the same skill level and everyone's just kind of guarding each other. But they were so consumed on the big 3. Like, he killed Boston in that series because all the focus went towards them and he was just wide open in the corner. So was Blake Griffin. So was Bruce Brown. So it goes hand in hand. But let's transition from the Lakers play to their most recent game because things took a turn, kind of like what happened in Denver. They played the Boston Celtics on Saturday night. Very good game, by the way. Highly anticipated matchup. I actually enjoyed myself watching it. Boston obviously came away with the win because they're Boston. However, LeBron James got hurt in the third quarter, had to leave the game with a groin strain, and is going to be out for at least the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. He's had this before.
This is like the 3rd or 4th time in the past couple of years he's had this same problem. It's a nagging injury. So, Gio, I'll ask you, what do you think will happen with the Lakers in these next few weeks without LeBron? And what do you see ceiling-wise for this team if he comes back, you know, 100% or not?
All right, so I'll give you the positive view, okay?
Yeah.
So what I think is going to happen is Luka's already been playing great with LeBron.
Yeah.
But I think you're going to see Luka, hopefully if he's healthy, because I saw him grabbing at the back the other night as well.
Camera's out of focus. There we go.
But yeah, so hopefully Luka's healthy. But I think you're going to see a lot more, of course, usage for Luka. He's going to have the ball in his hands a lot more, and you know he's proven he can do that and he can win games. So I don't think the Lakers are going to take that much of a dip.
Okay.
But I mean, when you lose LeBron, that's huge. It doesn't matter who else is on the team. It's LeBron James.
He's been playing at MVP level too.
Exactly. So you're still going to have an effect. And even if he's not scoring, he's still affecting the game and like passing and defense and all that other stuff. So
right. His defensive leap since they got Luka has been unbelievable.
Yeah.
So
he can focus more on defense when he doesn't.
This man's 40.
Yeah.
Like most people watching this show, like LeBron could be their father or their grandfather. Like that's crazy work.
Yeah.
But did you wanna talk about, since we're talking about the Lakers, did you want to talk about the Stephen A stuff?
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
Might as well.
Yeah. So basically, what happened? I'm sure you guys saw it, but during a game, I forget which game it was. Was it the Celtics?
It was at the end of the game before the Celtics.
It was the Knicks.
It was
the game in overtime against the Knicks.
Yes.
So during the game, midway through the game, it wasn't before, it wasn't after.
No, it was after.
Yeah, midway through the game.
It was after the third quarter.
After.
Right in the middle of the game.
It was during the game. It was just after the third quarter.
Okay.
Right in the middle of the game, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So LeBron approaches Stephen A. Smith, who's sitting courtside, and they get into a bit of a, not a scuffle, but like
Kerfuffle.
Confrontation.
Yeah, confrontation. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
LeBron confronting.
You can clearly see in the video LeBron's pissed. It looks like he cursed a couple times at Stephen A. Stephen A. just like didn't know what to do.
Yeah,
Stood
literally.
there.
Yeah, and he took it. So I wanted to get your guys' thoughts. Like, what do you think was going on in that confrontation?
Stephen A. talked about it the day after on First Take.
What did he say?
He said it's about Bronny.
Okay.
About how Stephen A. talks about Bronny on the show and puts him in a very negative light and a very just in the shadow of his father. Now he shouldn't be there. So he said LeBron was approaching him as a parent of a child, not as a basketball player.
I see.
It was the father and the good parent LeBron, not the basketball player.
So what do you think about Stephen A. immediately the day after outing the confrontation on
it went
First
viral.
Take?
Shout out Legends Productions because he actually posted the video. He's very good with lip syncing. He has a lot of videos. I'll put his channel in the description of like players talking shit to each other. You can hear what they're saying and you can see he subtitles it. And basically LeBron was like, leave my son out of this shit. So, and what I don't like is that, especially in like recent weeks with Stephen A. Smith, so many players have been calling out the media, and rightfully so. Because we've talked about it numerous times, that the media ruins the NBA. Stephen A. immediately played the victim card.
Yes.
And I'm not really surprised by this, because like, come on. Like the fact that Stephen A. Smith went on national television a month ago and called out LeBron James as a parent, like he said you're setting a bad example for your son. You know, I'm calling you out as a father. I'm just like, first of all, you have no place to be talking about that, because I don't even think Stephen A. has like kids or anything. Or
he does.
I'm
he does.
sure he does.
He has 3 daughters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But still, it's just like Stephen A. has no place to be talking about that. What he should be,
Especially publicly.
especially on national television.
That's where I draw the line.
First Take is, I think, the most watched sports reality show in the world, at least in the United States.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if any of the soccer shows, on the other side of the pond get more, but don't be doing that. That's just unprofessional, and that's unfortunately why ESPN has gone away from analysis. It's all about entertainment, negativity. That equals
so
clicks.
bad.
Now I understand that completely. I would say unprofessional, right?
Yeah.
On Stephen A.'s part. But do you think he's right? Even though it was unprofessional, do you think he's right about what he said about Bronny? And do you think LeBron James, the way he is handling this whole Bronny situation, do you think he's right in that as well?
It's hard because his son is in the NBA with him, and you have to talk about it. And it's hard because no son-father duo has ever played on the same team at the same time. But for Stephen A., it's, I guess, easier for him to say that. And he looked so sad the next morning after that confrontation. He looked so, like, upset on First Take and sad, like, that LeBron hates him now. Because he's the biggest LeBron fan. He loves him. And, like, now that LeBron kind of hates him, he looks so sad.
He's a Jordan guy.
He's a Jordan guy.
But, I mean, besides Stephen A., I don't hear any other shows talking bad about Bronny.
Yeah.
No, because I think on ESPN, I'm pretty sure in the interviews you have to they probably ask you like, do you like LeBron James? And you probably have to say yes. But like, it's a double-edged sword, because the way Bronny got into the NBA is a little fishy.
Yes.
You know, because
100%.
think about it this way: if you averaged 5 points a game in college, and then you had a cardiac arrest. You're not NBA ready. I'm sorry. Let's just call a spade a spade. I don't care who you are.
So true.
Like that 5 points a game should allow you to play another year in school already to kind of get yourself better.
Exactly.
But having even just having we saw Nikola Topic partially tear his ACL. It was a very tiny tear, and then it made him fall back from like the top 3 to the top 15.
Right, but his name is not LeBron James.
Right, but at the end of the day, a cardiac arrest, like that's obviously life-threatening.
Yeah.
We don't know if he ever was even going to walk again, let alone play basketball again. So I'm not surprised he struggled to start the season.
Yeah.
But
well, look at it now, though. I'm pretty sure he's averaging like 37 points in his last 3 G League games.
exactly, but it's the G
He's
League.
popping off.
There are levels.
Okay, but it's still basketball at a
Right.
pretty high level.
Right, but we're not talking about
37 in the last 3 games.
we're talking about the NBA.
Okay.
We're talking about playing him in the first quarter, first man off the bench
Yeah.
for the Lakers in a game against the playoff team.
Yeah.
Like that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
But Stephen A. has no right to be talking about Bronny and LeBron in that light.
Yeah.
When you're talking about an NBA player, you talk about their product on the floor, and that should be that.
Well, that's what he did, though.
No, but
This is what Stephen A. said. Stephen A. said that Bronny James is not ready for the NBA. This is what he said, and this is why LeBron said, stop talking about my son like that, or stop saying this S word about my, you know what I'm saying?
But here's the problem, right? he's using Bronny not being NBA ready as a medium to insult LeBron as a father, because he's saying he keeps calling out LeBron's parenthood. Like, he's talking about him as a parent.
Right.
And that, LeBron has every right to feel frustrated by
No,
this.
but Bron said, leave my son out of it.
Right.
So Bron was worried about his son. He wasn't worried about himself being.
Natural father
Right.
instinct. Yeah. I understand it.
Yeah.
Basically, he was saying, stop criticizing Bronny.
Correct.
But when that's also his job, that's Stephen A's job. His job is
Right.
to critique the NBA.
Right.
So how can you get mad at a guy doing his job? I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
No, I know. I think you can criticize the play on the floor, but don't leave the family aspect out of it.
Correct. The
Fair.
connection.
Fair point.
Because if you're talking shit about a player on the floor, I've talked shit about Embiid all the time. I've not once brought up his personal life. I've never brought up his family. I've never brought up anything like that. It's always been on the floor, and that's been that. I draw the line everywhere else. Stephen A. Smith needs to do the same thing.
Fair.
Talk about what's going on inside the lines, not what's going on
Exactly.
outside.
But I'm not going to lie, man. It's probably so hard to talk about Bronny without mentioning LeBron James.
Yeah.
We've done a decent job at that, I think.
I don't know.
Yeah,
We always bring up
mean-
LeBron when we talk about Bronny.
Yeah, I mean, in that sense, Stephen A needs to know when to bite his tongue.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just go to commercial
And
break.
Stephen A likes to do this. He yaps.
He's a
He's a
professional yapper.
professional yapper. Yeah.
So it kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
But
It is.
all I know is that Stephen A. a lot of NBA players don't like him now.
Yeah.
After this whole thing, and we even saw LeBron talk to Richard Jefferson before the other game the other night. He said, "As a father, I can't bite my tongue on it." So
Yeah.
I give LeBron full credit, Father of the Year.
Of course.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, defend. When we see Dylan Brooks when he was in Memphis do dirty plays all the time. His teammates still defended him.
Right.
So LeBron's going to defend his son no matter what.
Facts.
Yeah.
So that's what
Fair
parents
enough.
do.
Fair enough.
So do we have any final thoughts regarding the Lakers, LeBron, Bronny, anything before we move on to the next segment?
No, let's go.
Welcome back after a long hiatus to Tyler's Player Spotlight. So this is someone that's been quietly either playing really well or really, really bad. And it's just not talked about enough. And one of my biggest pet peeves in the NBA is that NBA doesn't market the underrated players, whether it's good or bad. They only want to talk about the top dogs. And I want to shed some light on these quietly good or bad players to either call them out or give them some love. So these guys do not know who I'm talking about. It is a surprise. So they're going to try and guess who I am talking about. So guys, Antoine's very confident. He thinks he knows who I'm talking about. So
All right. I assume it's a good player that's doing well.
Go for it.
Can you correct me? Is that
I'm not going to say a word.
all right? I'm gonna throw out a name that's someone that's been balling, and it's Zion Williamson.
He is correct.
Yo.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Let's talk about Antoine's favorite player,
I love Zion.
Zion Williamson. This is a player that has significantly grown on me since he came to the NBA, because I thought he was overrated coming out of Duke. I'm not going to lie. He's proved me wrong from day one. This kid can hoop. And he's one of my favorite players in the NBA now, which is crazy turnaround for me. Same thing with Trae Young, actually. So Zion Williamson, let's talk about Zion Williamson now at 264, his lowest weight in NBA history.
Wow, he's not eating.
Yeah, he's not, or at least he's eating better for himself.
He's eating
Correct.
less. He's eating less.
So in his last 16 games, I think spanning back to January 25th, something like that, he's averaging 26 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 stocks, which is steals and blocks combined, on 60% from the field. And he's only doing this in 28 minutes a game. That's Wemby minutes from last
How
year.
many points did you say?
26.
26.
In that stretch, he's had 3 games scoring over 30. One of those, he scored 40 and 4 double-doubles. And just last week against Phoenix, he had his first career triple-double. So clap it up for the lad. Clap it up for
Clap it
Zion.
up. Clap
Let's
it
go.
up.
That's my guy. So not only do the stats back up Zion's elite play, but the team metrics back it up too. So when Zion's on the floor, the Pelicans have a top 7 offense in the NBA. Also, when he's on the floor, the Pelicans score 9 points more per 100 possessions. So he's making that impact. And that's the 94th percentile, by the way. When he's off the floor, the Pelicans have the 28th ranked offense in the NBA.
Wow.
Now, granted, that is a bit skewed because the Pelicans are the worst team in the NBA, not named Utah. But that's still insane. The fact that Zion swings it that much
Yeah.
is ridiculous. When your offense is Boston level, when you're on the floor is impressive. The other thing Zion's also drastically improved is his efficiency, which is something that I've just been begging for him to improve on all season, because that's the one thing that can elevate his game further.
Efficiency in terms of
Shots.
just shooting.
Shooting,
Okay.
yeah. So obviously his true shooting percentage has increased by 10%.
Wow.
His 2-point percentage has increased by 11%.
Wow.
His 3-point percentage, which still isn't that good, is still increased by 13%.
Wow.
And his turnover rate has gone down by 1%, or has technically gone up. So he's turning the ball over less.
Good.
His points per 36 minutes has increased by 4%, and he's third in the league in that category in the last 15 games. And he's also shooting just under 70% at the rim, which is the highest it's ever been in his NBA career. So Zion Williamson, man, he looks way more comfortable out there. He looks way more nimble. He looks way more confident out there too. And I think this is exactly what Brother Man needed. So let's go to Zion's number one biggest fan. Antoine, your thoughts on this play from Zion Williamson?
Listen, this was bound to happen.
Okay, here we go.
The Pelicans have had a season from hell, but I guess the one bright thing they needed was Zion being healthy and doing Zion things, and he's doing it right now. So that's the one positive they can take from this season. Now, if they get the number one pick in the draft, I think they face a really tough decision, because if you want to move Zion in the offseason when his value's at the highest, you get some nice things in return, but you also have the number one overall pick, and you restock that Zion absence with somebody. But we're not at the lottery yet. We don't know what they're going to get. It's just a what's the word? It's
Hit or miss?
just no, hypothesis.
Nice.
I got it.
Big brain.
But right now I would keep Zion if you get the top lottery pick, and because of all the guys coming back next year from injury, Herb Jones, Ingram's gone. It's just Herb Jones.
Trey Murphy?
He knows he'd play.
No, I'm talking about like guys that they're going to have.
Oh yeah, Trey, Herb Jones,
Herb Murphy.
Yves Misi, DeJounte Murray.
Stop saying that, bro.
That's
That's going to
crazy.
be a pretty great team. Plus with a
It's not. Sorry. It's going to be a good team.
top lottery pick, if it's top 3 or top 5, that's a team. But they need a new head coach. I think Willie Green gets the boot this offseason, and they bring in somebody new. And that team could probably go up to the next level and maybe kick off the conditioning staff as well, and the health team. Bring in a whole new health team.
That needs to be the first people out the door.
But this team looks good. Trey Murphy has had a breakout year. He could have been in line for most improved if he was not injured for the first, I think, 25 games of the season or 20 games.
Yeah.
But Zion, it was the big thing that needed to work, and now it looks like it's working. And he looks more motivated than ever. They moved on from Brandon Ingram. Now he has the spotlight scoring-wise, and he's taking advantage of it, and that's what they need from him.
Yeah.
And basketball needs it from him as well, because we need Zion to be an all-star. We need him to be just doing Zion things.
We just need his dunks,
We
man.
saw all the videos of him going into college and high school.
Did you see the dunk he had on Trey Jemison? Oh my God.
Power on that dunk.
Gorgeous. Bro, I
Power.
haven't seen him lift that easily off the ground in ages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was what we needed to see.
No, seriously.
This is Duke Zion, and it's
Not quite.
It's like high school Zion.
yeah, high school. Yeah,
I think high school in Duke Zion was more athletic than this version.
That's
I think
fair,
he
yes.
has another level that he can get to that he's not there yet.
Understandable.
yeah.
So
What have been your thoughts, Gio?
yeah, man. Look, I'm gonna say that he finally locked in. Someone, I don't know if it's him or someone on his team, that was like, "Yo, you have to lock in, bro, because you're fat, and we gotta make you drop weight because you're not mobile anymore, and you can't do what you're really good at. So let's get you on this diet plan." So it seems like he was on a diet plan and he got right, and guess what? He's playing great and he's not injured. So I mean, we all knew his potential, right?
Potential's amazing.
Potential's
Exactly.
through the freaking roof. Everyone's been saying this. I'm talking about
Yeah.
all the retired NBA players have been saying Zion, he doesn't even understand his own potential. He can be that next guy.
Yeah.
Just based on just his athleticism, right?
If he could shed Shaq's work ethic,
Exactly.
it's, bro, the sky's the limit for him.
Seriously.
This was the original Wemby before Wemby became a thing.
I would say a little bit different because Wemby's just a freak of nature.
Yeah.
So was Zion.
So Zion.
So, like, not like Wemby, though. Like, Wemby's like 7'5", 8 foot.
In a different
wingspan.
way.
Yeah.
he
Zion
was
was
supposed to be that face of the NBA, though.
Zion was touted as the next LeBron.
He was. He was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's all I have to say about that. I mean,
A big man
he's here.
that could shoot
Yeah.
everything, defend.
But there's so much he can improve on, and that's also the scary part for the rest of the league.
Yeah.
Like, I think this is only like 60% of max potential Zion.
Oh, absolutely.
And so that's amazing to think about. Like, if he can actually lock in and have discipline this offseason,
Yeah.
we can see an MVP.
I think he's an easy MVP if he plays a full season. I think he is probably the biggest threat to Jokic for MVP.
Yeah,
I think
100%.
he'd have a much better case than SGA, Luka, Giannis,
Yeah.
all those guys. And that's still what perplexes me about the Luka trade, because we saw the Pelicans went through hell seeing Zion just constantly get banged up and injured and everything like that. They still have stuck by his side this entire time. You thought
Yeah.
they would, like Nico Harrison would have traded him 10 years ago. Like, it's still just beyond me. And Lucas had so much more success than Zion Williamson.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the main thing. But
crazy.
credit to the Pelicans for sticking with him.
Seriously.
But the question is, if the Pelicans do get Cooper Flag, do you keep Zion or do you move off of him?
Oh, you keep him.
I don't know. I don't know if I would.
Why?
I'm definitely taking calls because they essentially do the same thing.
Well, what if you have two guys that are freak athletes doing the same thing? What's wrong with that?
It's not that I think at some point, because Cooper Flag is going to make a ton of money, and I just don't know if they want to stay over the second apron by that time. I don't know if, like I said, Zion's potential stupidly high, but this could also be his best season. Like, we don't know if it's going to go downhill from here or not. I'm not saying I would trade him, but I would definitely take calls if I'm getting Cooper Flag guaranteed.
Yeah,
don't know.
I think that's doable because you can get back assets, but him with Cooper Flag, you want to have the best team out there. Plus, you guys coming back from injury, that could be a really good team in the West next year. That's going to be a stacked West with them getting better than the Pelicans.
You also don't want to rush Cooper Flag's development because, that's why the Spurs tanked again last year, because they didn't want to rush Wemby into like playoff basketball right away. I don't think you necessarily should rush Cooper Flag to the playoffs. Unless like a freak like the Thunder win the
Why
lottery.
not? I say why not? Tatum was rushed to the playoffs, 19 years old. He was dunking on Bron.
Yeah, but he's still 19 now and has a title.
Okay.
So it's like, it's just kind of is what it is, right? But yeah, that's basically kind of the gist of Zion Williamson.
Yeah.
He just looks more like himself. This is what we've been waiting for.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see what happens with him next season. Does he stay a Pelican? Does he get traded? Do they trade for another star? 'Cause that's
If he gets traded, you know who needs to get on the phone right away for Zion Williamson.
Oh,
sorry. The
don't
Knicks
say
have,
the
the
Knicks,
Knicks have
bro.
no picks.
That is Leon Rose.
Don't say the Knicks,
colors
bro.
he is wearing.
What?
You
Stop it, bro.
trade away Mikal Bridges,
Oh, my God.
OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, and you got a big three of Brunson, Cat, and Zion.
Wow, the injured bunch.
That is a beautiful lineup.
The one thing I'm most curious to see with that trade has nothing to do with Zion. I want to see what happens when the most durable player in NBA history plays for the Pelicans.
Yo,
Yo.
that's actually fascinating.
That would be insane.
I think for Zion to go to New York, you need at least another team or two.
No, because you don't have picks.
We gave you back players.
They don't want that.
You got players.
Knicks, stop it. Just stop it.
You know how New York wanted Zion because we got screwed in that draft lottery. They gave us the third pick. We got screwed. We lost out on Ja, and we lost out on Zion.
That's actually
and we
tough.
got stuck with RJ Baird, who's
That's so
now in another country because we exiled him there.
Look, I'll be honest. They would have traded both Ja and Zion by now.
No,
I guarantee.
Well,
you
Jalen
that.
Brunson wouldn't have been a thing.
Not
Right.
Ja.
I think they would have traded Ja, because if Ja had all these off the court problems in New York,
Oh,
But he wouldn't have, though, in New York.
don't
you
know.
can never say never.
you can never
I'm
say
going
never.
to say never.
They definitely would have traded Zion. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
They would have traded
probably.
Zion.
Oh yeah. If
No.
you traded
They would've, 'cause
if
he's
you
injured
traded
all the
RJ Barrett 4 years into
Yeah,
the
100%.
process or 5 years in,
But RJ was so streaky.
well, because the Knicks don't know how to build a good team around them. That's their own fault.
New York got to his head. He was too in his head.
Maybe, what if Zion would have never been Zion if he went to New York?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
It's like
Zion
he
could-
wouldn't have been the same player if he went to New York. You know what
Exactly.
I mean?
Well, I don't know. He can go to the Nets for all I care.
I would gladly take Zion. I would rather Zion than Giannis on the
I'll take
Nets.
either one of those guys.
Yeah.
On the Nets.
100%.
That's the one player I'm willing to take a flyer on is Zion.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. I would pour out the picks for him because we have plenty of them. I don't really care. We can give like we've already gotten so much from the KD trade, including the 6 picks for Mikal. We can give up 2 or 3 for Zion. It's fine.
Does that mean does that mean you just gave up on your Cooper Flag hopes and dreams?
No, because we'll get into that in a bit.
Okay.
Why I have not given up on my Cooper Flag dreams.
Okay.
But, at the end of the day, the lottery's up to chance. It's up by luck.
Exactly.
And, there's only a slim chance that you get. It ranges anywhere from 3% to 14% of winning the lottery. So that's essentially the Zion thing. Do we have any final thoughts before we get into the next segment?
Let's go.
Let's do it. Let's talk about the NBA lottery. I know this is, the lottery's not for another couple months, but we're exactly 2 months out by the time it's going to happen. So we might as well do a little bit of an update, and we'll do another update at the end of the season. So we'll kind of get a sense on where teams are at, right? So on the screen right now is a Tankathon website. It's probably going to be different by the time I edit this because tonight's games will have an effect on the standings. But this is, in short, this is in general the lay of the land right now and where teams are kind of in line. So obviously Washington, Utah, and Charlotte occupy the top 3. They each have a 14% chance to get the number 1 overall pick, which would be Cooper Flag, generational talent. You all know that stuff by now.
Unless he stays.
Which I doubt.
We'll see.
It's possible, but I don't think he stays.
All right.
Coming up in the 4th spot is the New Orleans Pelicans. In 5th, the Toronto Raptors. In 6th, coming from a humongous comeback right now on a huge surge down the standings, is the Brooklyn Nets. We were like up in 13th a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, they're close to 5th.
Yeah.
Toronto drops more games.
And we're about to lose the Lakers hopefully today.
Yeah,
Toronto just had a big win the other night. So things we'd love to see.
He could reach New Orleans too, probably.
Oh, yeah, they can.
Yeah.
I think it's possible. It's going to be a little bit tough, though, because we are 5 games behind or ahead of New Orleans, technically.
Okay.
And the 7th spot. This is where things get dicey. You currently see the OKC Thunder have the 7th pick. It is top 6 protected. So Philly needs to start losing some more games if they want to get their own pick. Because like I said last week, there is a very realistic possibility that the OKC Thunder win the NBA Finals and get the 7th overall pick in the draft.
And they'll get pretty good talent.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Like you could walk out with an NBA, you can walk out with the Larry O'Brien trophy and either Cooper Flag, Dylan Harper, VJ Edgecombe, whoever. Right?
I don't think they'll fall to 7, but they could get
not 7, you know what I mean? Like they could get someone just decent enough.
Yeah.
Or at least they can use that pick to trade for another star if they don't win the championship this year. I.e. Larry Markkinen, Giannis, KD, Kyrie,
or they can move up in a draft.
I don't really think there's no need for them to move up in the draft. And I don't really think any of those teams would rather have Cooper Flag than J-Dub or Nikola Topic or whoever.
Yeah.
So, obviously that's the top 7. You scroll on down a little bit more. You got Chicago, San Antonio, Portland rounding out the top 10. And then no one really cares about what's after the fact. Although you do see Dallas in 13th. So they're at least going to get a lottery pick.
Yeah.
But I don't. Even if they win the lottery, like it's not impressive. Like
no.
Like Nico Harrison's still a dumbass. He's still an asshole. Like that's just kind of what it is. So
yeah, listen. I mean, I'm pretty excited for this draft class. I follow college basketball pretty good. Obviously, we know 1, 2, and 3 should be Cooper, Harper, and Ace Bailey. Pending if Bailey does drop and VJ Edgecombe jumps in or Kasparas Jakuchonis. Then you have Cooper Flag's teammate Con Kneppel. Also their center Kaman Malak. Liam McNeely from UConn is a top guy. Nolan Traore, Trey Jones. There's like 10 to 15 good, decent prospects.
There is a mock draft segment section on here.
Yeah, find a mock draft.
I don't know what it shows, but
go to the big board. See big board next to mock draft?
Oh, I do see it, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But essentially, this is what it looks like. It kind of shows who's kind of up there. It's Trey Johnson. Trey Jones is on the Bulls.
Trey Johnson, yeah. So everybody from 1, so obviously we know Cooper, Harper, Bailey, Edgecombe, Jakuchonis, Johnson, Kneppel, Malak. I know Asa Nubo's been hopping up. Liam McNeely's right there. Igor Demon from BYU is a really good prospect coming up.
Yeah, he's going to be a good player.
And then other guys in between are other guys that I don't really know much about, but the top 10 is really loaded with talent.
It's a really good top 4 specifically.
Yes.
Like the top 4, like once you draft Edgecombe, Bailey, or Harper, Like whoever the last of that is, it's a huge dip in talent. Like those are the clear best in the class. And obviously Cooper Flag's in a class of his own. I mean, he's insane. I mean, you see the numbers he's producing at Duke. He's dropping these amazing like 30 and 15 games, like unheard of, unseen in the college game.
Yeah, their stats are right there next to them.
So yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I'm curious what the big board says. It's just kind of the same thing. It's basically just the mock draft. But
Yeah.
Tankathon, we'll put the link to Tankathon in the description. You guys can sim your own lotteries and stuff. We're not going to do it because it's going to be different outcomes when I do it later when I'm editing and stuff like that. But
You could do one to see what happens.
We'll do one, and we'll see who wins the lottery.
Oh,
Oh, no. I would not like for this to happen.
San Antonio.
So San Antonio would win the draft, the lottery, followed by Utah at 2, Chicago at 3, New Orleans at
Yuck.
4. Brooklyn falls to 8. That's awful.
That is awful.
And OKC will be walking out with the 9th overall pick in the draft.
That's
That's
not bad.
nasty work.
So Washington falls to 5. They would probably get nobody in that top 4.
That's what's happened the past few years. The Pistons have had the worst record in the NBA, wound up falling all the way to 5th. So that's why I never wanted the Nets to get the worst record, because that just doesn't happen. So as long as we're just inside that top 5.
What we're going to do, hopefully, the lottery is in June.
May.
We're going to live stream the lottery.
Yeah.
That is on our agenda. We're going to live stream the lottery and the first round, the first day, because both rounds, we'll stream the first
It's just the lottery.
round of the NBA draft.
Oh, yeah.
We could do like the first 20, 25 picks, maybe the whole first round, and it'll cut after this first round.
Yeah.
Free agency possibly could go live, depending on how many signings we may have that first day.
It's going to be a good free agency class.
We could, hopefully it's like NFL free agency like today, but we know NBA free agency usually does go off the first day.
Yeah.
Usually. But yeah, those 3 days we definitely should go live, or 2. We'll see free agency what happens.
Stay
But
tuned.
draft, lottery, and draft we should go live. That's what we're gonna plan for.
What day is the draft?
The draft's on a Wednesday.
yeah, lottery's-
Lottery's on a Sunday.
Lottery's like half
Okay.
an hour.
Okay.
Lottery's like a half an hour.
Yeah.
It's not long.
The deputy commissioner does it.
Yeah, an hour, half
So.
an hour. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this whole lottery system, and do you have any thoughts on it, Gio?
Let's hope the Spurs don't win it.
Yeah, I'd
Period.
rather not.
That's hilarious.
Could you imagine Wemby and Cooper Flag? Like,
Bro, one of the Spurs pages tweeted like, "Bless us just this once. We're not asking for much." I'm like, bro, you literally just got Wemby.
Right,
Like,
right.
like, bro, like, what
Get
are
out
you
of here,
talking
bro.
about?
Get out of here. Scram. Kid.
Exactly. Get out of here. There's only one. There's only 2 teams that I would actually really be happy to see Cooper Flag go
Which
to.
is the Nets
the
and-
Nets, and the Jazz.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bro, if you, realistically speaking, right, if the Jazz win the lottery, you have front court of Cooper Flag, Lauri Markkanen, Walker Kessler. Go get Trae Young.
Yeah.
Do they need him? Keontae George on the rise.
Keontae George is one of
yeah.
the least efficient players in the NBA.
But he puts up points, and they're starting Isaiah Collier over him.
Yeah, I'd rather him than freaking Keontae George. He'll have like a 25-point game, but he'll take like 40 shots.
No, but I'm a big Keontae George fan.
I like the way he
I like that
plays.
you brought that up.
He's got good energy. He needs to get that efficiency.
Yeah.
up. It's
I
awful.
think it'll come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Or at least get someone, because like that could be a dangerous team in like a couple of years. Like I said,
Yeah.
Danny Ainge plays the long game.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it looks like Cooper Flag will probably, hopefully, be a Brooklyn Net.
Oh yeah.
And, I will.
Probably, hopefully. You see how he did.
Or
Probably,
a
hopefully.
wizard.
No,
No
he
way.
needs, he needs to be a net. He needs.
I
to
wouldn't
be-
mind him in Chicago, though.
That would be cool, but like, come on, he needs to be a net. He needs to be. We haven't had a first pick in so long.
You know what? I agree with that. Bring him to the New York.
Because, bro, the
please.
draft is at the Barclays Center. He'll be
Yeah,
drafted
that'd
in
be
his home
perfect.
arena.
Oh,
That'd be perfect.
speaking of,
Where is he from? What state
wait,
is he from?
I don't know.
Hold on. We're not going to be live. We're going to be at the draft in Barclays Center.
It's in Brooklyn.
Correction.
Cooper Flag was born in Newport, Maine.
Maine.
Oh, he's from Maine. Yeah,
Yes,
that's
he's
right.
from Maine.
We knew
I
that.
keep forgetting all the high school clubs. He's got Maine on the jersey. So
So he'll be on the East Coast if he's in New York.
Yeah.
exactly,
perfect.
he'll be pretty much home. So that's essentially the main gist of the lottery. Do we have any sort of final thoughts before we get into the tier list?
Let's move.
All right, into the main segment, guys. As you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, we're going to be putting every NBA title contender into a tier list. So what we're going to be doing, we have the top 8 seeds in both conferences, and we're going to put them on a tier list. If you somehow don't know what a tier list is, they're basically just levels that separate levels of quality, I guess, as you can say. And we're going to be doing this with the top 16 teams in the NBA. So obviously this is based off of how legit of a shot we think they have to win the NBA Finals. And, do we have any sort of questions, comments, concerns before we kind of dive right in?
No.
All right, so on the screen right now, you'll be able to see the tier list. Shout out HoopGoat. I'll put a link in the description. You can go make any tier list you want on that site. So we have obviously just the main, 6 tiers. S tier for the best of the best, the ones that will probably win the NBA Finals or at least compete for it. A tier, just below that. Then we have B tier, C tier, D tier, and then F tier, going for the worst of the worst. So guys, where do we kind of want to start off with this tier list?
Let's knock off our title contenders.
So you want to knock off all of S tier?
Yes.
Okay. I think we can kind of agree that there's really only 3 teams that belong in this, right? Mm-hmm. I think it should be Boston, Cleveland, and OKC.
Agreed.
4th team.
What do you say?
Denver.
Oh, no. Not a chance.
Why?
No, they're not even touching my S tier.
They're A tier.
Denver is 0-6, I think, against the top 3 teams in the East.
Yeah.
All right.
They don't have enough firepower.
And they're also like 3-11.
Then Denver is A tier.
They're
Well,
A tier.
We could talk about that in a few minutes, but I mean, I assume Boston, Cleveland, OKC all goes into S tier.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's pretty easy if you ask me.
Yeah. So bear with me for 1 second. Let me just move all these teams in because I'm on a trackpad here and I'm not the most, technically sound with it. We'll order each tier too. Who do you want to put at like the top, like in order of the 3 teams there?
Oh.
I think OKC should be first.
Oh, wow.
I think Cleveland should be
I
first.
think Celtics should be first.
Oh, here we
I feel like I got
go.
different teams.
All right, so who should be bottom? Who do you trust the least out of these 3?
Cleveland.
For me, it's probably OKC.
Yes.
You just said.
What?
I knew it. No, I
you-
think I trust OKC the least.
Well, you literally just put
What?
them first.
Hello?
But
Hello?
I don't
That's
know.
the craziest switch I've ever heard in my
Stand
life.
on business,
Stand
no,
bro.
now because like Chet and iHeart have been pretty bad.
No, they haven't.
No,
They've
bro.
been
They have not.
poopy. I could see. Wait, Boston and Cleveland should be. Yeah, I don't know why I said OKC first.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I would put. You said Boston first.
I said Boston first.
I think Boston is still first.
Okay, so it'll be Boston, Cleveland, then OKC.
Yeah,
the way we
this
have
the way
it.
you have
That's
it.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So we have that knocked out. Do you want to just get an F tier out of the way, or do you want to
Yeah.
just go one by one now? I think we should just go one by one because we
Yeah.
don't know who's going to be in what.
That's fine.
Those are just the clear 3 best teams in the
Yeah.
league.
For sure, yeah.
So, Antoine, what team do you want to start off with?
Let's go to Denver, like I just said.
The Denver Nuggets. So the Denver Nuggets are an interesting team regarding, themselves. Obviously, they've done what they've supposed to do against, the bottom feeder teams, the mid-tier teams. But, unfortunately, let's call a spade, they're not good against the best teams in the league.
Which is scary. They
It's
could
not
be an
good.
easy out.
They could be,
But
yeah.
at the same time, they have Jokic and they can be anyone.
Exactly.
So
But this is a Jokic that's kind of, hampered by injury right now.
Yeah.
He's got problems with his ankle. He's got problem with his elbows, his wrist. So I don't know. We don't know what we're going to get from Jamal Murray
Or Russell Westbrook.
or Russell Westbrook or Michael Porter. We don't know how durable Aaron Gordon's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know if Michael Malone's going to even play the young guys in the playoffs.
Right.
Right? That's what we don't know. And,
A lot of inconsistencies with the team.
right. Like, it's kind of just, it's hard to gauge right now with Denver because I just don't know because they're going to wind up being 1-3 against OKC. They're 0-6 against the Celtics, Cavs, and Knicks. And, they've already lost once to the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
It's not looking good. Right now you're looking at a first-round series against Golden State. They haven't played yet. But, that could easily turn Golden State's ways if Denver's playing
Wow.
like the way
really
they've been
good.
playing.
Yeah, that's scary.
So what are your thoughts?
Me?
No, the Pope.
Oh. Pope, what's up?
Hey.
That's not me.
No, I'm really talking to you.
Yeah, so pretty much what you were saying. Like the Warriors, a first round series with the Warriors, but the way the Warriors have been playing with Jimmy Butler, they look revived.
Yeah.
So that honestly, I'm concerned a little bit sometimes watching them. So yeah, I think they're A tier as of now.
Yeah.
I'm fighting between A and B.
Ooh,
No, they're still A tier.
I still think they're A.
They are
That's
still
fair.
A.
I think A because I think they're the only team I semi-trust to kind of get out of the West.
Yeah.
But I just don't see if they wind up going up against the Cavs or Celtics, there's no way they're winning that series. So that's why
Well,
they're
what
not
about-
S.
Well, why are you talking about finals? Talk about within the conference.
But these are
the
title.
Lakers.
But these are title contenders.
What, A tier is title?
No. Like
No,
S is
S.
winning the finals. Like the only reason they're not an S is because I don't trust them against the teams in the
I
East.
see what you're saying.
So that's where I struggle. But like I said, the Lakers could easily knock them out. Really, anyone can knock
Right.
them out.
That's what I'm saying.
It's really hard for them. They're really going to need a favorable path to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still think A tier.
I think I'll agree, just because you can't go against Jokic, and if Murray shows up, then
It's a different story.
it's a whole different story.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it's just like, what are we going to get from them? But
Right.
we'll be generous for now. We'll put Denver in A tier. I'm not too confident of it. I could easily move them down to B. But
Yeah, it's
if,
like
there's
A
any,
minus.
if there's any picks we're unsure about, we'll fix it at the end.
Yeah.
So, all right. Gio, what team do you want to go for next?
I want to shoot at the Knicks for a second.
Okay, we're just going down the standings. All right. So the New York Knicks, talk about them.
I think I'm thinking A tier for the Knicks. What are we thinking with that? I think the Knicks, I don't know. I mean, you know what?
I think they're high B tier.
I agree with that. They're B tier.
That kind of gives me more of an incentive to move Denver down because they're kind of the same.
No, I think Denver's still A.
I think
Knicks are
Denver's
B.
better.
Denver is
I think
way
they're better because they have Jokic.
Exactly.
I guess that's a fair enough assessment. There's a hair in my eye and I can't get it out. But yeah, I mean the Knicks, we all know the story. The Knicks can't beat top teams just at all. They're like 0-7 against the top 3 teams in the NBA.
Yep.
If you would count the Lakers into that, they're 0-9.
And they're hobbled. Brunson's
hobbled.
hurt.
Hey, listen,
Cat is hurt.
Yeah.
No, Cat's fine.
No, but he's
He's banged up.
limping
Yeah.
around.
Yeah. Listen, Brunson's out. They need OG to step up, and I mean Josh Hart's been fine. OG and McHale, those are the big guys that need to.
Who was the
step
guy that you said in the beginning of the episode where you're like, there's
OG.
one guy. It's OG?
up. OG.
Okay.
He's the highest paid player on that team. He needs to do a lot more.
He's not.
Second highest.
But he needs to do a
third highest?
lot.
He's the second or third highest.
He needs to do a lot more than what he's doing right now.
He's doing exactly what they're asking him to do. The one who's not doing any
No,
of that.
I think OG needs to score more.
No, the OG needs to defend.
No,
He needs to do both.
score.
He's
He needs
both.
to do both.
Score.
But at the end of the day, I would much like what you're getting out of OG on the defensive end is like way more than anything I could ask for,
more
especially
valuable,
because the
yeah.
Knicks are not a good defensive team.
We don't need him to score. They're already the top 2
Like,
offense in the
you
league.
have Brunson and Cat for that.
Yeah.
The one who needs to step up his game, especially on the defensive end, is the one you traded the house for.
Yeah.
And that's I'm going to sing that till the cows come home.
Yeah.
Mikal Bridges cannot be getting away with these types of
I don't
performances.
claim that as a Knicks player.
Okay, here's what I think about
I
the
don't
Knicks. though.
claim him as a Knicks player.
Here's what I think about the Knicks.
He's not a Knicks
I
player.
think the Knicks right now, I'm not a Knicks player, but I think the Knicks right now,
You're a Maverick.
no.
Yeah.
The Knicks right now, they are not playing good defense, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. But I think when playoff time rolls around, comes around, I think they will lock in so much more in defense. Tom Thibodeau will surprise us and give us flashbacks of why he was that defensive-minded coach when he was in Chicago. I think that's what we're going to see in the playoffs, and that's going to bring the Knicks to that A tier level where they're competing with these other championship teams. So what do we think about that take right there?
I mean, look, if this was 9 months ago, I could see it. But every time you talk positively on the Knicks, things just progressively get worse. So, like, I have to see it to believe it.
Okay.
But the problem is that Tibbs is playing them so many minutes. Like, I don't know what kind of energy they're going to have. Like, I don't even think they're going to, like, I think they probably will get past Detroit. But, like, Detroit's either going to beat them or they're going to tire them out so much they're going to have nothing left for Boston. And Boston's easy. They're just going to have an easy series.
I don't think so.
Because Detroit's coming in, they have energy, they have nothing to lose. They're kind of just going in with house money, and they're just going to play physical. And we'll kind of see what the Knicks are made of if they stay in that third seed. Obviously,
I think the Knicks are significantly better than Detroit. I think it'll be an easy 5-6 game series for the Knicks.
I don't know about that. We'll have to see when the time comes.
We will.
Because y'all said the same thing about Atlanta in the NBA Cup, and look what happened.
Well, it's the NBA Cup.
That's the
Still,
NBA.
it is an elimination game.
Yeah.
So
We'll see, man.
so we put in the Knicks. I agree with B tier.
They're
by the
B
way.
tier.
Yeah, B plus. Yeah.
So the Knicks are going in B tier. All right, Antoine, let's go for a team sort of lower down the standing. Let's kind of mix it up a little bit here. Who do you want to go with next?
I mean, go to the bottom teams, like
Yeah.
my F tier teams. Atlanta.
Let's do Atlanta. We think Atlanta's F tier because I kind of agree.
Yeah.
I don't like even like Trae Young could maybe win you a round, but like you'd have to beat Boston or Cleveland, and it's just not going to happen. So, not
Yeah.
really much. Atlanta goes in F tier. Is there anyone else we really want to put in F tier?
We can throw in
Golden State.
No.
Hell no.
We can throw in Orlando right now.
Orlando.
I think the way Orlando's playing is duty.
I still just don't think F tier. I think maybe
Wait,
like,
Golden
D?
State. Golden State could be like C or D tier.
yeah.
Golden State is probably C.
Let's pick one team and stick with it because I want to chapters.
I think Orlando is F.
Orlando's either D or F.
Orlando I would put in D tier because
Yeah.
Paolo and Franz, if they can lock in just for a little bit, they could at least get farther than Atlanta.
But have they showed you anything this season? No. Except for like the first 10 games.
It's really not so much of that. It's just that I really just can't put them in the same tier as Atlanta, even though Atlanta's further
All
up
right,
in
you
the
know
standings.
what? I agree. Let's put them in D.
Yeah, they're
Never
better than
know.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Even though
They're better than
Atlanta's higher right now in the standings, I still have to give Orlando their props.
Just because they got those guys.
Exactly, star power takes you far in the playoffs, and I just don't know who's going to really help out Trae Young. I know Franz is going to help out Paolo and vice versa.
Yeah.
So that's fair. All right, Gio, we don't have to do any sort of teams and what standings. Just pick whatever
Yeah.
team you want to talk about next.
Let's go with the Bucks.
The Milwaukee Bucks. This is an interesting
It's
one.
very interesting.
This
They
is a
have
team that could do anything.
Yeah. Because they have two of the highest, or it's the highest scoring duo in the NBA.
Yeah.
In Giannis and Lillard. So where do we want to put the Bucks?
If I'm being honest, they're in the same tier as the Knicks.
I don't know.
I don't think they're C tier at all.
I agree. I think they're B tier.
I don't think they're C tier at all.
Bucks could be scary good in the
but
playoffs.
I would put the Knicks in front of the Bucks
I agree.
in the B tier.
I probably would.
Yeah.
It's they're really so even. The only reason I think I would actually put Milwaukee in front of New York.
Wow. Why?
Because of
'Cause-
Giannis solely?
Yeah, Dame's having a very quietly underrated season right now, and like I said, the Bucks don't run their players into the ground.
Yeah.
So
I could say they were even. You
Cat-
could put them next to each other. They're even to me.
Cat is locking up Giannis.
Cat can't defend anything.
No, fine.
There's no shot.
I wanted to see your reaction.
Yeah, I just think if the Bucks are healthy, they are clearly a better team than the Knicks, especially in April when the Knicks already have a bunch of like marathon miles in them.
I just need the Bucks to have like other scorers besides Dame and Giannis. If they can get other guys, other role
Kuzma.
players to hit threes, like
Kuzma.
they
He's
can
their,
be.
he's their X factor.
Yeah, Kuzma's the X factor.
Kuzma's big time the X factor.
Yeah, he needs to step it up big time, and if he does, they can compete with anyone.
Oh,
Because they
absolutely.
got Giannis and Lillard. So, I think B tier for now though.
I would agree.
Yeah.
So I think we'll put the Bucks right in. We want to put them in front or behind the Knicks.
I'm behind for now.
I say in front.
I say behind.
I say behind.
Okay, so we'll put them behind.
Behind.
Fine.
Yes, they're behind.
All right. All right, so not too bad. We currently have 3 in A tier, 3 in S tier, 1 in A tier, 2 in B, 1 in D, and 1 in F. Antoine, who do you want to talk about next? Get a West team out of the way. We haven't done one in a while.
Let's go to Minnesota.
Ooh, this is another interesting team. A team that gutted their second best player. They're currently, I think right now, I saw a stat. I think they're 15-0 when Randall plays like more than 25 minutes or something
They're
like that.
10-0
Oh,
when
10-0
he starts.
When he starts, that was what it was.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
They're starting to turn it around a little bit. Anthony Edwards is still shooting obscene numbers from three, both attempts-wise and percentage-wise. It's just a matter of what do you like? What is your evaluation this season of Minnesota? Because they've kind of been all over the place.
They have.
It's an average down year. I think that's they're C tier for me right now.
They're currently 7th in the West.
Yeah.
They would have a playing game against the Clippers if the season ended today, and if you win that, you have a first-round date with the Lakers.
Well, they're one game behind the Warriors as well.
Right, but I'm saying if the season ended today,
Yeah.
that's what would happen. So you're looking at a series either against the Lakers or Nuggets, basically.
Yeah, they're on a 5-game winning streak right now too.
They're playing really good.
To me, they're still bang average. I think C tier, high C tier.
I think I would agree. I just think what the Knicks and Bucks have, the Wolves kind of lack,
Exactly.
which is just kind of that extra oomph from your second guy. Obviously, the Knicks have Cat or Brunson, depending on who's hot what night.
True.
The Bucks have Dame, who's that guy for Ant? Because they're good players around him.
Randall.
Randall shot the Knicks out of 2 playoff series. So, like, do you really think he's going to help Anthony Edwards?
If it's right now, it's J-Mac.
And still,
J-Mac is playing great.
playing great.
And it's Nas.
Right,
Nas.
like J-Mac, great. Nas, great.
Yeah.
Don't even put them in the same category as Damian Lillard and Karl Anthony Towns.
No, exactly.
So that's kind of where it is.
And-
but I do trust this team way more than the Orlando Magic. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And Rudy's there. Rudy's defensive guy.
Yeah.
Get Rudy out of here.
Rudy's anchoring a top 10 defense right now. So, like, say what you want about, bro.
It's mostly
Yeah,
Nickeil Alexander-Walker and J-Mac, but
Yes,
anyways,
Nickeil Alexander-Walker playing 19 minutes a game. Yes, definitely.
it's both of them, J-Mac and Nickeil.
Okay, fair.
All right, so we can put them at C.
Yeah, I think they're a fair C tier,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. All right,
Go for another West team, G.
All right, let's do the Grizz.
Ooh.
okay.
I think this is going to be the most polarizing team for all three of us. I feel like we're going to have some debates about this.
Okay, again, this is a B tier team to me, and they would go smack in between the Knicks and the Bucks.
To me, this is a C tier.
Oh,
What?
Yeah,
wow.
Why?
I don't have
They're
faith.
too young.
Yeah, I don't have faith in the Grizzlies.
I
honestly.
see that point,
I don't.
but I think the highest I would go is B tier last between the Knicks and the Bucks.
What's the lowest you would go?
That's the lowest I would go.
Oh, you said okay.
That's the last team at the end of Knicks and Bucks.
Okay. I say C. What do you think, Tyler?
I think this is an A tier team.
Wow.
No.
I think it is.
You trust Ja that you think Ja's going to
No.
go crazy?
What Josh showed me in the past week, he looks a lot more comfortable.
Okay.
He's been dealing with a shoulder injury, and he's starting to recover from it. And once they get Jaren Jackson Jr. back on the floor, who's been their best player by far all season, like that's an instant like 25 a game, and he could easily win DPOY. That's how good he's been playing. If it's either him or Mobley winning it at this point, at this current moment in time, and right now, like I said, I have question marks regarding Denver. I have question marks regarding pretty much the entire West outside of OKC, and even still, OKC needs to prove themselves from years past. The Grizzlies could easily make a run. I think they're a team that could easily just stumble past everyone. Because you're looking at a first-round series right now against, I believe, Houston. And a Houston team that's been god-awful as of late.
Yeah.
So you're looking at a first-round series against them, then you play OKC. If you beat OKC, you can beat anyone, right? So to me, Memphis is should be in that same category as Denver because at least Memphis has beaten some of these teams, I think. I think they beat Boston once. But
I don't know.
Fair point.
I'm still at B tier, either in between New York and Milwaukee or ahead of New York.
that's kind of where it will average out because if I said A,
Yeah.
he said C. It's going to go somewhere in
I
B.
would
Put him in B.
Put them in B.
We got to
put 'em-
decide where, though.
Put them ahead of New York.
I would put them ahead of all three of ahead of both of them.
Yeah, ahead of New York.
I mean, it's going to end up being that because I want to put them in between Bucks and Knicks.
So it's really up to where you put them.
You want to go between Bucks and Knicks?
That's what I say.
I'll stick by that.
Okay. So we'll put Memphis there. Yeah, I think it's a fine spot regardless. I just think right now with the way the West is, it's not panning out as how we thought it would necessarily.
Right.
That's kind of let me down a little bit because I wanted the West to be this insane bloodbath of title contenders when really the bloodbath is the top of the East.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and by the top of the East, I just mean 2 singular teams.
Yeah,
But-
exactly.
You thought he meant the Knicks, didn't you?
Yeah.
Psych.
so funny.
I thought the Knicks could maybe do something, at least maybe beat them once in the regular season, but like they couldn't even lose close.
Yeah.
So like
We'll see when it matters most.
Yeah.
yeah, we'll have to see. So let's see. We have how many more teams in each conference? We have 1, 2, 3, or 4 more. Let's knock out one more West team.
Let's do the Clips.
Clippers. Interesting.
Again, this is a really good team, but bang average.
Kawhi hit a game winner last
did.
night.
He did.
And it was very reminiscent of the one in the playoffs.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, this is high C tier.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You trust them more than Minnesota.
Correct. Because of Kawhi and Harden
Yes.
solely.
Yes.
You trust Harden in the playoffs?
I do.
Yes. He's
I
been
trust-
hooping.
I trust Kawhi, but I don't trust Harden.
No,
Well,
he's been
of them.
hooping.
Both of them.
Yeah,
I
but
trust
like
both.
I said, like you said 2 minutes ago, when it matters most.
Yeah, but we'll see maybe when he matters most. He might show
but-
up this year.
Harden in the play. I mean, I feel like he gets a bad rap in the playoffs. Harden, even when he was in the Rockets, he was good in the playoffs. It's It's just that his team shot him out of it. It's not just him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, I need to see Harden have more of those takeover moments. I'm not seeing enough of it.
Okay.
I think Zubac as well. Norman Powell is going to come back as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
This is C-
I would
C-tier.
trust them more than Minnesota.
I definitely don't trust them as much as the B tier teams. I think I would agree with C tier. I probably would. It's just a matter of I'll let y'all decide where you want to place them as far as in C tier because I just don't know. Them and Minnesota are so even.
I think Minnesota's better.
Why?
I just do.
I think it's so tough to call because like in the
How
playoffs,
are they better?
Think of impact players in the playoffs, right? Forget the stars, forget Kawhi, forget Anthony Edwards, forget Harden. You're looking at the Clippers, or let's talk about Minnesota first, right? Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Naz Reid, Jaden McDaniels,
Right.
the Clippers, Vica Zubac, Chris Dunn is going to be amazing in the playoffs, and
Absolutely.
Derek Jones Jr., who
Right.
was great in last year's playoffs. They're so even to me. I don't really know where to place them.
Yeah, and that's why I'm gonna take the team with the better player overall with Anthony Edwards. I think he just gets them
That's fair.
even further up there because of
agree.
what he can do. I think he
Okay.
can elevate in the playoffs as well. So
What do you think?
All right. I think, C tier, regardless, they're probably bang average next to each other. I think the Clippers, though, a little better because of the Kawhi and Harden, but I'm fine with I love Ant, so I guess Ant-Man going ahead is fine with me.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Gio. I think I would just give Minnesota a slight edge. I think last year's run kind of gave them some experience needed, and I just trust their 3-and-D wings a lot more.
Yeah.
So let's pause for a minute. Let's kind of just evaluate where we're at right now. So Celtics, Cavs, Thunder in S tier. The Nuggets are our lone A tier team. Then the Knicks, Grizzlies, and Bucks in B tier. The Wolves and the Clippers in C tier. The Magic in D tier, and the Atlanta Hawks. Pour one out for Trae Young.
Yep.
Sitting at the bottom of F tier. If this was like 3 years ago, the Hawks could have been higher.
yeah, for sure.
100%.
Watch them make a conference finals after all this.
Could you imagine that?
If he does it again, bro,
Ricochet is like the big impact player. It's like
he becomes like the next Jamal Murray in the
Right.
playoffs.
averaging like 24 a game.
Yeah. So he would be like, it would be like, Reece Haché is what everyone thought Wemby would be.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Imagine.
It just really sucks. I wanted to put the Spurs and Mavs in here, but like
No.
their seasons just went to complete
That
dog shit.
sucks.
So, but we have 5 teams left. We have 2 teams from the East and 3 in the West. So I guess we'll knock out one more West team. So we have the Warriors, Rockets, and Lakers. Gio, who do you want to talk about?
Let's talk about the Warriors.
Okay. Again, I want Antoine to stand on business here because he doesn't believe in the Warriors. So Antoine, why do you not believe in the Warriors?
Because they have no big men. That's going to be the
point.
issue.
That's a good point.
But I think they would fall in C tier, and they would be the top team in C tier. That is my place for them. They're not B tier.
This is so tough for me
Same.
because
My heart wants to place them somewhere. My mind wants to place them another where.
yeah,
Where do you want to place them?
I was thinking. I was thinking B tier, but I don't know.
You are ridiculous.
I think it's gonna have to be C though because it's the Warriors. You know what I mean?
Right. I think Jimmy just changes that dynamic so much. Like
does.
I'm even contemplating A tier.
No.
That's what your heart is saying or your mind.
My heart's telling me A tier. My mind's telling me B tier. I just feel like it's Steph and Jimmy Butler. Like Jimmy Butler in the playoffs is obscene,
Right.
but like I don't know.
So what are you gonna do, bro?
Like, because like the Warriors in the first round are gonna play one of Memphis, Denver, or the Lakers, and then in round 2, they're gonna play the other one of those teams that doesn't lose. I'm so torn.
So are you gonna follow your heart or your mind? What's it gonna be?
Let's break it down, right? We know they're better than F tier. We know they're better than D tier.
Yes.
Are they better than Minnesota and
I
the Clippers?
don't know. That's why I have them in C tier right now, because I think Minnesota could beat them.
But I
do.
think they could easily beat Minnesota.
Yeah, it can go either way.
And that's the thing.
It's a toss up, and that's why they're C tier. I don't think they beat the Bucks. I don't think they beat the Grizz, and I don't think they beat the Knicks in a series.
It's so tough. It really is tough.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just, you don't know what you're going to get. Because Steph's going to do his thing. Jimmy's going to do his thing.
Yeah.
What are the guys around them?
That's what I'm
They
saying.
still don't have Kuminga back, and he's coming back next week, I think.
Okay, so we'll get a bigger, better picture when he comes back.
Oh, absolutely.
But right now, I'm putting him in C. That's what I'm doing. Anthony, you agree?
Yeah.
I'm so torn. I'm so torn between A and B because my decision effectively, has a lasting impact on this list.
Yeah.
Because they either wind up in C tier or B tier.
Right.
And right now, it's so tough to call because the Warriors are playing so good. I don't know what to do. This is going into this, I knew this was going to be the team I struggled with the most because I know what they can do, but I need to stop focusing on what they can do in a perfect world. So I am going. I don't know if I'll say B tier for now, but we may have to change that at the end of the tier list.
Okay.
So we'll put them in C tier, I guess. They got to go at the top of C tier.
They're the top C tier team. Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
They're the top
Fine.
C
Fine.
tier
Fine.
Without a doubt.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think this team could easily move up within the next half an hour.
Yeah.
So that's fine. All right, we have the Pistons, Rockets, Pacers, and Lakers. Antoine, who do you want to talk about next?
Let's go to Pistons.
The Detroit Pistons. Oh, I've been looking forward to talking about these boys again. I'm sorry, I just love the way they play. What are the vibes saying about Detroit?
Oh, they're having a great year. The fact that we put Golden State, you know what? Golden State should be in B tier.
Oh my gosh.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because Detroit should be the highest seed in the C tier.
Really?
Yes. Golden State should go low B tier.
We can worry about the
I
Warriors
disagree.
later. We can talk about the Warriors later. Let's focus on the Pistons right now.
I think Pistons are the highest C tier team.
Okay.
And the Warriors should definitely go into the B tier.
What about
Lowest
you?
B tier.
What about you, Gio?
I think they're C tier, but they're lowest. They're not with the Magic, of course. I think D and F tier, they're pretty much set in stone. No one's going to be there. So I think they're the lowest C tier. I'm going to be honest.
I'm going to agree with Antoine. I think they're the highest C tier.
No,
Okay.
they're the highest C tier.
Because look, I do think they can beat the Knicks or the Bucks or the Pacers in the first round. It's just that doesn't make me I'm not overly confident of that.
Right.
Like I said, they could go out there and get swept, but it's still a
Right.
successful season for them. But they are a threat. They're going to be probably, in my opinion, I think they're going to be the toughest out in the playoffs. I think
Yeah, they have nothing to lose. That's very true. But they also have zero experience in the playoffs.
I think they have certain guys with
They have some
experience.
guys, some
Well,
vets.
Beasley, right? That's
Beasley,
Tim Hardaway.
Tobias Harris has
Okay, yeah,
playoff
yeah, yeah.
experience. Tim
True,
Hardaway
true.
was just in the finals last year.
Yeah.
So they have good vets surrounding this roster.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a good collective test for them to see what they can do
Yeah.
without Jaden Ivey too. That's
Yeah.
like the main thing. And they have Dennis Schroeder, who's obviously been in
Yeah.
playoff games before.
Yeah.
He's played in a Western Conference Finals 2 years ago.
Olympics.
He's played in the Olympics, yeah. So like I said, I think this team could fuck around and find themselves in the Eastern Conference Finals, but that doesn't make me want to put them higher than C tier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. C tier.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. So we'll put them in C tier. Because right now, they're only a half game out of fifth, and they're only a game out of fourth.
Yeah.
For now, do we want to put them above or below Golden State?
I say Golden State's higher.
Golden State should be B tier. Last B tier team. I think we move them up.
We'll keep them there for now.
Take it easy, huh?
Okay,
it easy.
fine.
All right, let's get to one of our next West teams. Gio,
Yeah.
Rockets or Lakers?
Let's go with the Rockets.
Houston Rockets. Amen Thompson's going to be out for the next 2 weeks with an ankle sprain.
Yeah.
This team's already
Bad.
falling off as it is.
What's their record the past 10 games or so?
I
Last
have it
10, I
here.
have it up. They are
5-5.
5-5.
Okay, so 500.
If I'm being
Yikes.
honest right now,
And they lost those games to. They lost to Indiana. They lost to OKC. They lost to Sacramento. They lost to Utah, and then they lost to Golden State.
yeah.
And they're currently winning right now against Orlando.
If I'm being honest, they go smack middle in that C tier.
Wow.
Really?
Smack middle.
No. I'm putting them B tier.
I was leaning towards D tier. I'm not going to lie.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't like what I'm seeing.
Jabari Smith's playing off the bench now.
Well, he's been hurt, so
Yeah.
they're kind of ramping him back up.
Yeah, I don't
It's hard
know.
to gauge with Houston because, like,
It is.
they're only 3 games ahead of Golden State and Minnesota, but they're only a game behind Memphis and Denver.
Yeah, exactly.
So and I think D tier might be a little bit too ambitious. I would probably put them in C tier.
yeah.
I put them in B because I still have faith in Ime Udoka. I think he can turn it around even though it's nearing the end of the season.
Right.
So
They're kind of in the same boat as Detroit, though, where they have guys that have experience, but they really have no experience.
yeah,
I think they're better than Detroit because they have a little bit more firepower.
yeah. That's what I'm saying.
So I think I would put them in between Golden State and Detroit.
My counterpoint is that Detroit has a much easier first-round opponent,
Well, yeah, but we're not comparing their opponents.
but that depends on what they can do to contend.
yeah.
Because like I would give Houston right now would have to play Memphis in round one, where Detroit could play anyone from Indiana, Milwaukee, or New York.
Well, what's the record against Memphis this year? I'm pretty sure they have like 2-1 against Memphis. Or
Yeah.
something.
So it's pretty even. So
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to gauge, but I think I would agree. So
See?
All right.
Tier?
So I guess it averages to C tier.
because you said what? You said
I said
B.
B.
You said what?
See.
You said C as well?
Yeah.
See, where do we want to put them? Want to put them below Golden State, above Detroit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I don't hate that at all. All right, we have our final two teams. I had a feeling these were going to be the last two teams in the
Did you?
tier list. Yeah, because these are the two most polarizing teams I feel like we're going to have.
Yeah.
So which one do you feel like is the least polarizing?
Fuck the Pacers. We're going with the Lakers first.
All right, we'll go with the Lakers first.
This is A tier.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree, yeah. The Lakers have a really good chance to make it back to the finals.
They do.
I think
hate it.
they can go above Denver.
Why do you hate it? Aren't you a LeBron fan?
I like LeBron, but I'm just so sick of the Lakers. I've always hated the Lakers.
Yeah.
Because they always make things about themselves. They always luckily find their way into these star talents.
Yeah, they do.
It's crazy. I was gonna agree and put them above Denver, but I'm questioning now that LeBron's hurt.
No, but LeBron comes back.
Right, but
I
if
don't
he
know,
comes
man.
back, is he 100%? Like we see
Right.
Aaron Gordon came back twice already from this groin problem, and he got hurt again.
Right.
So like I don't know. So what are we saying?
I say, as of now, we're gonna put them below
That's fine.
Denver
I'm fine either
in
way.
the A tier,
Yeah.
but I think they have more potential than
yeah.
Denver overall.
They're a
in terms
threat.
of going farther.
Then they should be above Denver then if they have more potential than no.
Are we going based off now or their potential?
This is evaluating teams as finals contender.
Okay, so yeah, we put them above Denver.
I think
put
we
them
have
above
to.
I think, they're above Denver. That's what I said.
And like I said, if Denver comes back in the next, I think they played the Lakers this week. If they can come back and storm back and win those games, then it's going to swap right
Right,
again.
it'll change. Yeah,
Because those two will probably meet in the second round if they both
Yeah,
win their first.
that'll be fun.
Series. Good series.
yeah.
So, and it all comes down to this. Now, I was objective with the Knicks, so I ask you to be objective with the Pacers.
This is B tier team.
Okay, I thought he was going to say like C
This
or
is
D.
bottom B to B.
Yeah, this is bottom
B
B.
tier.
I actually do trust them a lot more than Milwaukee.
Okay.
I
I
would
would put
Ooh.
them in between Grizz and Milwaukee.
I would put them just below the Knicks.
Wow. Ahead of the Grizz.
No. Memphis is because Spicy P and Hallie, Nemhard, Benedict.
Yeah.
Maybe he has a point.
Yeah, see, I told you.
Maybe he
Yeah,
has.
Tyrese
a
can you
point.
just stand on business for once, bro?
Tyrese Halliburton's assist to turnover rate has been insane since he started to pick things back up over the past few weeks.
Yeah, he has been improving.
I've seen because him and Ja both were stinky in the first half of the season. Tyrese Halliburton's been more consistent for longer on the come up. Ja, we've only seen like 4 games. He just had his first ever back-to-back 30-point performance of the season.
I'll put him ahead of the Bucks, but not the Grizz.
So it just rides with you. You determine where they go in B tier.
You know what? I'll stand by my Grizz.
All right.
They're gonna go in between.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna want the Pacers in like C or D tier.
No. I
Good list.
think Golden State should go up to B tier.
I agree.
No.
Bottom B tier.
Keep them in C, bro.
Well, unfortunately, sir, you're outvoted.
It's bottom B tier.
I
You-
kind of want to
you-
put them above Milwaukee. I'm not gonna lie.
No. Giannis, Dame, no.
I don't know.
I trust them more than Steph and Jimmy.
Absolutely.
But like Giannis has not been healthy in the playoffs for like
Oh,
3
my goodness.
years.
Yeah, but this is different Giannis this year.
We said that last year too.
No, but this year
fine.
he's the leading
and
scorer.
it was freak accidents last year. Someone pushed him onto his tailbone.
It was a
last
freak
year.
accident in 2023. Last year he hurt his calf a week before the playoffs.
Oh, I thought it was a tailbone
No.
injury.
That was 2 years ago.
Oh,
when
that
they
was
lost to
2 years
Miami.
ago.
I don't
Yeah.
trust Golden State because they do not have a center. Milwaukee has Brooke Lopez. Bobby Portis will be back.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about
They'll
that.
be perfectly fine
Okay,
beating
fine.
Golden State.
We'll move Golden State up to B tier and put them right at the bottom.
Yes.
Fine.
Houston and Detroit being the top C tier teams is perfect as of right now.
Bro, the Thompson twins could not separate.
It's
Actually crazy.
They're twinned up again.
Exactly.
They're literally just all together.
I think this tier list is perfecto.
I think we do need. I don't know if we need to reorder S tier.
No.
I don't think.
S tier
I think
stays.
I think the reigning champions are still the favorites.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's a fair assessment.
I think they're still the favorites.
All right.
Peyton Pritchard and Derek White just had 80 points combined.
Yeah, they combined for 80.
And that's not even
Okay.
their first or second option.
Exactly.
Either of them.
That's not even their third option.
Right.
Derek White's their fifth or fourth option.
Is
And
he though?
Yeah, I mean, because Kristaps Porzingis when healthy is their third option.
Yeah.
Oh no, Derek White be
traded all those-
shooting that ball.
No,
They
Derek
traded
White
all those
can.
picks for him,
Exactly.
bro.
Derek White be shooting that thing.
I think this is a
I think this is a good
Phenomenal
tier
list.
I think it's a good tier list.
I think it's a good list besides the Warriors. I'm a hater though. I'm a hater. You don't have to take
is.
my. You don't have to take my opinion. I'm a
yeah,
hater.
like objectively, I think we probably put the Knicks too high. I think they should probably go in like
What?
Z. I think it's like Z tier maybe.
No.
I'm just playing.
Yeah.
I would love to see the Rockets and the Detroit move up to B tier because they're really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're right now just because Detroit is
Fall
kind
off
of the same.
recently.
Houston's
I think
fell
it's
off.
more so like Detroit and Houston can easily beat New York and Memphis, but like you don't know that for sure, so you have to give respect to the higher
Yeah.
seeds right now.
Yeah.
And especially to the star power, like Ja Morant is. I would rather have him right now than Şengün, and same thing with. I'd rather have Brunson and Cat than just Cade Cunningham.
Yeah.
So the star power does carry you far in the playoffs.
Very true.
So, do we want to reorder anything? Do we want to change anything of that nature?
I want to move the Timberwolves ahead of the Pistons, but that's just me.
Do you have thoughts? Because I don't either.
No
All
way.
right, fair.
Fair assessment.
No way.
Yeah, the only thing I'm tempted to do is move the Clippers to D tier, but like
No. No. They're not D tier.
I think Atlanta's the clear worst team in the playoffs right now, followed very closely by Orlando. Even though Orlando is technically the worst team out of this whole bunch, Paulo and Franz, at least like Trae Young's help went away, and then I do get it up at the top having Boston first. I personally wouldn't, mainly because Cleveland is just on fire right now. DeAndre Hunter's not lost a game with them yet, so
Yeah.
but yeah, it's fair, it's respectable. I understand.
Yeah.
So do we have any final thoughts,
luck.
questions, comments, concerns?
No.
No.
All right, let us know down in the comments what changes you would make or
Exactly.
who you would put in what. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of episode number 48 of the Floor Spacer podcast. Gio, you know what time it is. What do people comment at home that are still with the flow?
Comment down shooting stars, baby. I don't know
Shooting
why.
stars.
That's just the first thing that came
That,
to mind.
that was the name of the all-star competition that got canned.
It was,
Was
yeah.
it? Shooting
So
stars.
either comment the words or the star emoji. I
Yeah.
think there is a shooting star emoji.
Oh, yeah.
There
comment
is.
that.
There is. There's
So
one with the shoe.
comment that.
That'll be
Yes,
cool.
there is.
So, yeah, guys, 1 year of shorts. We still have another month of pods before we get to 1 year, but crazy that, we're already 365 days into this shit. It's
Crazy.
amazing.
Yeah.
So, do we have anything else we want to say? Obviously, episode 50 is coming in 2 weeks. We have a special episode planned for that. So stay on the lookout. Obviously, we will kind of just, keep an eye on everything going on with news, everything like that.
Yeah.
We'll have our playoff and lottery updates, our playoff predictions coming right at the end of the season.
Yeah.
We'll react to our standings predictions and then the awards and everything like that. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So we have a lot planned. So if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, hit the bell, try and get us to 5K before April 1st. If you're on Spotify audio platforms, give us 5 stars, answer the polls, leave a review, all that good stuff. If you're on, follow our socials at Floor Spacer Pod on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all that stuff. Follow our personal ones in the description or at the bottom of the screen. Get Gio to 1 million Instagram followers. I just yanked my headphones out of my head. That is crazy.
That's how excited you are.
Yeah, that's how excited I was.
I'm gonna need the same enthusiasm from you guys. Like it up, follow me. Let's go.
That's gonna look crazy on video.
Run it up.
But do we have any final thoughts to say to the viewers before we head off for the week?
I need to put the Knicks on right now.
Said by nobody ever. But we hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all for watching. We love you all endlessly. Fuck Nico Harrison. And we'll see you all next week in episode 49. Peace out.
Go Knicks.